What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Herd's Top 50. I'm your host, Edward.
Shrey. Ken.
All right, so a number of months ago, about 2 months ago, I would say, thereabouts.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. We did our top 50 of all time of right now.
Yep.
The four of us, Derek was included in that.
Yes.
That was the first list. Second list was people were wondering, oh, where is Game X for me?
Yeah.
So I extended that to the top 100. Then you two, I believe, put together
HCHQ Aggregate top 50.
Yeah, like our local group that you see here on the channel. And then figure, you know what? We need to take this one step further and do the community, i.e. the Herd. So, a number of months ago, reached out to the Herd, to all the patrons that support the show, the community. 847 of them. And of that, I didn't know what to expect. Like, how many people are going to submit their top 50s?
Yep.
I was hoping 300 or 400. Apparently, that's unrealistic, I've been told. I was hoping.
Yeah.
So we got 140.
I was hoping for 100.
Okay.
So it exceeded my expectations a little.
Okay, and it was half what I hoped for. I don't know what I expected, but I hoped for that.
I think, though, if we make it a regular thing, we will eventually get more participation.
You would think so. So I think we do this on the annual, maybe biannual basis, something like that, right? So yeah, that's basically what this is. So the community, the people that support Heavy Cardboard, obviously the show will have had an influence because, duh, I mean, they're fans of the show. They want to be a part of the community. They like heavier games. I removed all restrictions except for like explicit expansion only stuff. But outside of that, you want to throw fillers in, whatever. Sure. Because kind of like our podcast that you and I talked about, what's a filler? It's all relative.
Yep.
There's got to be context there. So, you want to talk about how y'all put this stuff together?
We slightly modified the voting we used for the HCHQ Aggregate.
Which was?
So we used a modified version of a Borda ballot for that, which means that if you know you've got Borda is like if you've got 50 places for something, the number one ranked thing is going to get 50 points, the number 50 thing is going to get 1 point. Right. And we had a couple of reasons why we thought modifying that might be good, but I think that the overriding one was that we knew we were going to have a low end of submissions, and we were worried about a scenario where like 3 or 4 games make it onto the list just because they were number one on a single person's.
This is for the
HCHQ list.
Yes.
Okay, right. Okay, so that's how you guys modified that.
In retrospect,
right.
I'm not sure that the thing we did to modify it actually would have made any difference. I think it probably would have been equally fine either way.
Okay.
But what Shrey found as he was looking through this data is that the modified system we used made the data a little spikier, whereas if we just used...
Finish that thought and we'll circle back. Go ahead.
Whereas if we just used the 50-1, it was a much smoother curve.
Okay, when you say spikier, like elaborate. Because keep in mind, I don't know what the list is. Now, I saw the graphics as I was putting them in and fighting with the software, but like it didn't register. Like I don't know what the list is. So
it just sort of noisier, right? Like so, like that because 20 is like a really large number compared to 1, whereas like 50 is not that large compared to 30.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right? Like, so I think that it caused some more spiky looking data, which basically was just noise.
Okay.
Right? It wasn't actually showing us anything interesting other than that, like our system that we were using is a little weird.
Okay. Okay, fair enough.
So when we went to the unmodified Borda ballot, it turned out to be better. So that's what we ended up doing. So like, if you submitted a list of 20 games,
right,
your number 1 game got 50 points, and your number 20 game got 31.
Whatever that.
Okay, you gotcha.
Right?
Okay.
If you submitted a list of 50, your number 1 game got 50 points, and your number 50 got 1 point.
Okay, got it.
And I think we required at least 20
as a minimum, because not everybody submitted the full 50 because
maybe 10 or so that didn't give us the full 50.
Okay. Oh, wow. So the overwhelming majority gave the full 50.
But I will say, at HeavyCon, I talked to a couple of people who were like, I'm relatively new. I've only maybe played like 70 games. And I was like, if you have a top 20 out of that, you could have submitted 20. Right. And I think, hopefully folks will feel more comfortable to submit, not necessarily a full 50 for next time.
Okay.
So that's what we ended up doing. And also important, so there's only one tie in our top 50.
Like for points wise, tie, whatever, thousands, hundreds, whatever, tens points. Okay.
Helps to have 140 submissions. Makes it easier to not have ties.
Yes.
It seems logical.
And when there was a tie, we broke it by frequency of appearance on the list.
Okay, so in other words, if game X that's tied with game Y, if game X showed up on 50 lists and the other one showed up on 40 lists, then the 50 is ranked one higher. Got it. Okay.
Yep. And then importantly, Shrey wrote a nice little script to roll games together. Right, so we talked about how we're considering, like, for example, Agricola versus Agricola Revised Edition to be the same game.
Right, because you submitted, there must have been 50 questions that you guys had that I had to be the arbiter of these things. Regardless of what Ken thinks about Brass Birmingham and Brass Lancashire, those were two separate entries, whereas, like you said, Agricola and Agricola Revised obviously is the same thing.
That's right.
That's right. Yeah, there were 115 consolidations like that.
115?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
I mean, there's in theory, there could be as many as like 7,500 different games submitted, right? Because 140 lists
times 50 theoretically.
Now obviously there aren't that many unique games.
Right.
A lot of people pick the same games. But
So another example that you guys have marked down here: Darwin's Journey and Darwin's Journey Collector's Edition.
Both came out in 2023.
It's the same game, all right? Like, I mean, come on, sure. All right, so go for it.
Yeah, so we as you said, we received 140 lists from everybody. Thank you all for submitting.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. That's, again, I'm not disappointed. I just was hoping. That's all. Okay.
I mean, I think there are reasons why some people didn't, and if we want to lower the barriers for that in the future. I think
and one of the things that chat is saying is it's easier to modify a list once you have a list. A lot of the people in the community were like, wow, I've never done this before.
Totally.
And I've said before on the channel, this is legitimately one of the hardest things that I do on this channel is putting together my top 50.
Right, and you intentionally start from scratch every time.
Yeah, I do.
Which
is hard.
I don't know, man.
Well, because I'm trying to come up with...
I appreciate it. I think it probably makes for a really good thought process for you.
Yeah, it does.
But like, the next time I make mine, I'm not starting from scratch.
And that's fair. And that's what people are saying. Like, once I have a list, now it's easier to modify it.
Totally.
That totally makes sense. I get that.
Yep.
So how many games were there?
Yeah, so across all the 140 lists, we got 1,372 unique games.
Okay, so again, not talking that Agricola Revised, that's still only one unique game.
Yes, that's
right. And
right.
you said 1,300?
Yeah, 1,372.
1,372.
So about 10% of those games had some sort of consolidation effect, right?
Right. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, I get that. That makes sense.
And just a special thanks to Kushagra. He created a Google Sheet that he put in Slack that a bunch of the people used, which made it so much easier for people to submit their list. Because we asked for the name and the BGG ID,
right?
So that we could make sure that we're getting the right.
Yeah, because like Horus, one of my Grail games. Which version of Horus are we talking about? So having the BGG ID for it, whereas like Democker is ID number 1 on BGG. So that makes sense.
So every list I got through his spreadsheet, I didn't have to fix anything. There was some that I had to fix a lot.
Thank you. So if it's not apparent, thank you both, because I know this was a fair amount of work, and you wrote software for this. right?
Yeah.
So thank you. That's amazing. I am very grateful. And as you said, Kushigura doing a lot of front end work on that to help out as well. That's kind of awesome.
Yeah.
Somebody asked earlier, is there going to be the herds 51 to 100? Nope. This is it. It's a top 50 list, and that's going to be that. A number of people have shared their lists within the community, like on Slack and so on and so forth. You can go look at those if you were so inclined. We are not going to release anybody's individual that isn't releasing it on their own, kind of like here at HCHQ. Not everybody was comfortable with their list being public. I support that. I'm fine. Mine is public. The four of us, meaning the three of us and Derek, we were willing, but not everybody's going to be in.
Yeah,
you know what? That's okay.
Kind of wish I had somehow asked people if they were comfortable with some of that information.
Yes or no? Yeah,
because so I can easily say, okay, for person X, who are you most aligned with, right? And then you can see what else what else is in their top 50. And I think that's interesting.
I agree. So when we're done with this list, and we're going to obviously talk about them a little bit, it's 50 games. We're not going to talk a lot. Plus, we've done a number of these already in the last couple months. One, our top 50 and the herd aggregate, I think, ended up being like 11 hours. There's plenty of game talk in that. So this is more or less going to be a listing with a little bit of discussion.
Yeah.
And then these guys sorted out all the information along with Derek, who used stats, basically made graphics of the stats, and they're going to walk us through all of that because numbers and stats, let's face it, if you're a nerd, you like this stuff, we like this stuff. So, yeah. Are the local, is our local?
They are not.
They are not. No. So our 14 or whatever it was here local
totally separate.
Are not.
Yeah.
So talking about, and Derek in chat says kind of an HC matchmaker. I think what I want to do in a perfect world is we do this again next year ahead of HeavyCon.
Yep.
So probably in March or April, we'll do similar, but we will include that whole, hey, are you okay with having it, matched and specific? And I think that would actually be of use to the individual, to the community at large. So I think that's kind of a great idea.
So, I took a look at who I align with, and there were games. There were games that obviously I played a ton of what is out there, and but it makes me think maybe a game that I was lukewarm on, maybe I should revisit it. Because
this other person who matches with me really well really likes it.
And then I didn't give it a fair shake. So
So it works both ways. It's not just, we're just one of the community, right? Yeah. So that's kind of awesome. Cool. All right, y'all ready to do this?
Yep.
All right, let's catch this up. All right, we are caught up there. Hopefully everything goes without too much snafooing. Here we go. And again, a big thanks to Derek. Now, Rob does our graphics. Y'all know, sorry, I said we were going to get started, but this as well. Rob does all of our graphics. However, for stuff like this, there are so many graphics. Derek was like, yeah, I don't mind doing it, da-da-da-da. So he put together everything outside of the wallpapers and all that stuff. So big thanks to Derek for helping us out with these streams as well. So without further ado, here we go. The herds, number 50, High Frontier for all. So all the High Frontier iterations are in this one. I know this is going to make a lot of people happy that High Frontier made the list.
Well, I think the message here for Jakob is if you want this to be higher on the list, you have to create more than 20 alias to submit.
Yes,
that is fantastic.
This. I'm actually glad this game made the list because it is the one that has the most passionate group of people submitting it. It just made the list because 20 people had on the list high enough that it got there, right? There was most other, like every other game on this list, don't make it that high, right? Have many more have much more representation. So like, so these 20 people have it high enough that it actually got there.
Okay, right.
Really nice.
In the again with 140 lists, 20 of which are Jakob's. We're kidding somewhat. Do we want to? On the front end, before we go any further, do we want to talk about what the range of scores are for number 1 to number 50, or is that something we want to do on the back end?
We could say like that.
Yeah,
So
number 50.
At number 50, 737 aggregated border points.
There you go. Okay, so if somebody had it as their number 1, that's 50.
Yeah.
And this had 737.
That's right.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
There we go.
All right. Yeah.
All right, and the other thing I'm going to say about High Frontier here is historically regarding HeavyCon, I've used DeMacher as kind of the poster child for, hey, at HeavyCon, you can get a DeMacher pickup game. And that was kind of because DeMacher is a 5-player, 5-hour, 7 auction game, hard stop. At HeavyCon 8 that just finished last weekend, there were not 1, but 2 pickup games of High Frontier that weren't led by Jakob, to be clear. Yeah. And they had the players only or players wanted signs, and they had to turn people away because they were more interested than there were actual seats to be able to play. That's amazing, and I love that so much.
Maybe Jakob could tell us how many in the games that he ran, how many were first timers? I'm kind of curious.
Yeah, I'm curious. He can mention that in chat, and we'll circle back to it.
Yeah.
So that is the Herd's number 50, High Frontier. All right, moving on. Number 49 is
Keyflower.
Keyflower.
Good stuff.
Some people say it is Richard Breeze's best game. I would argue it's personally his second best game behind Reef Encounter. But I mean, great auction game.
Yeah, it's a game that I sort of I need to. I feel like I should revisit, but every time I revisit it, I'm still disappointed. Frustrated.
Okay, why? Like what frustrates you?
Something about the way that auction runs that I just can't. It's not that I can't. I understand how it runs. I understand but it just I don't like the way that I have to participate in
it. Because it's like so chunky, the integers are so low.
Yeah,
and the difference between having like 4 and 5 of something is super meaningful.
Yeah, I don't know. I should keep trying it maybe, but yeah.
I mean, I keep bumping my head up against on a couple of games as well, so I get that. Yeah. And Jakob says there were no first timers in his games. The least experience was Drew at 5 games or something like that. Mm. So that just goes to show there are more people out there that have experience that they felt comfortable enough to run games of High Frontier, and that's amazing. Yeah. So number 49, Keyflower. Moving on to number 48,
Scythe, yes. Yeah. I mean it's a game that I always it's an enjoyable experience. I don't find it as interesting from a whole larger perspective. But the micro turns are very it moves snappy. It's got a nice little pace.
My favorite thing about Scythe is the fact that, and I don't think it's the first game that did this, but that it has the resources are stored on the board. Mm-hmm. And the fact that they are always at risk inside.
Opportunity for interaction.
That is a really nice way to put that. I wish more games actually did that, to where, because in your standard Euro, I'm going to place X, I'm acquiring resource Y, and it goes into my pile in my tableau. Scythe, no, it gets stored right there, and there are opportunities for interaction.
No geese in Scythe, though.
Yeah, no, there are not. Yeah, so. All right, number 48, Scythe. Number 47, Anachrony. Still have yet to play it.
Okay.
Have you played it?
I've played it maybe once or twice.
Yeah, me too. Minecraft Games, I also is a publisher that I seem to not really link up with, but I know so many people who love them, and this is
Tricarian's fantastic. Yeah. It's still and that got a lot of run at HeavyCon. Yes. By the way, Tricarian did.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it often does. There's a lot of people there who have it really high on their list. I know Derek's always trying to get games
Sure.
in. So.
And I mean, I would. It's just, it's an investment. And my big investment one was the Colonists this year. So there was that.
Yep.
Which, by the way, inserts on its way. Can't wait.
Sweet.
Can't wait. So number 47 is Anachrony. Number 46, Beyond the Sun. All right.
Surprised me a little,
Yeah,
actually.
I dig it.
I didn't realize that there was this much love for this game. It's a good game.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's another Tech Tree the game, which, I mean, what is it about Tech Trees that are so interesting and so compelling? I love them. Why? I don't know, but it works really well. Yeah, with the expansion, it makes the map more compelling. Certainly enjoy the game more with the expansion, but the Tech Trees carry the game for me in just the base game.
Yeah, I've never played the expansion. The base game is like not really my favorite, but I have heard from people that I should try with the expansion because the expansion improves the other part of the game.
Yeah.
I'm in the same boat. I love the Tech Tree part. I don't particularly like the space board map.
Right.
But and I'm curious. I'd be curious for the people who rate this highly what they think of Beyond the Horizon, because I like Beyond the Horizon in certain ways more than Beyond the Sun. But I suspect that people who like Beyond the Sun probably don't enjoy Beyond the Horizon as much.
We've played Beyond the Horizon once. We need to get it to the table more. Because I want to be able to compare and contrast, right?
Yep.
All right. So number 46, Beyond the Sun. Number 45 is
Grand Austria Hotel.
Yeah.
This is a really good game at 3. At any other number, it's just a little bit too much. But it's so the dice in that is such a really well done system. I don't get to play this enough.
I think this falls into the category of games that I really enjoy when it hits the table. I'm just never asking for it, and usually if somebody recommends it or says, hey, how about this? And I'm like, but when it does actually make it to the table, I really enjoy it. So I don't know why some games fall into that weird spot of like, oh yeah, this actually is a really good game, but I somehow, for some reason, try to avoid playing it. I don't understand, even though I enjoy when I actually play it. Weird.
Yeah.
So
never played it before.
Oh,
You've
you
never
haven't?
played? Oh.
Oh, all right.
Well, we should fix that.
We should, and then So just every 5, why don't we kind of call out how many points we have here?
Yeah, so this is the last game in the 789 points. So it's not that different, honestly, from High Frontier.
Yeah, so we're gonna jump. We're gonna like see a lot of like bumping up of like 5, 10, 15 in that range until we get to some higher numbers. And
Okay.
we'll talk about that.
All right. So Grand Austria Hotel, number 45. Moving on, number 44. Viticulture. That's 2 Stonemeyer games, which I'll be honest, is at least one more than I expected on this list.
Okay.
Just totally, that surprises me.
People love Viticulture. It's another one of those. He makes games that are like that are so smooth and they're pleasant to play, and I get the appeal. You have to play it with the certain for me you need the Tuscany board. And the game was refined after its first version. So there's you have to understand the context of the game, but I think it's a good, pleasant game.
Yeah, I mean I'm never turning down a game of that. I like it very well. It's not a game that I'm ever jonesing to play.
I mean, if someone was like, I must play Viticulture, will you play with me? Then sure. But if someone say, hey, we'll play Viticulture or this other game, I might say, how about this other game?
100%. That's the camp I fall in. Let me be very diplomatic in the way I word this. You mentioned that they are very smooth. I tend to enjoy games that have a bit more rough edges left on them.
Sure.
And so they are so smoothed down that they don't hit for me.
Yeah. Fair enough.
So, number 44, Viticulture. And again, viticulture with Tuscany, all that's implied, or however you want to frame that in these. All right, so that's number 44. Moving on. Shrey, what you got for number 43?
Number 43 is Civolution, our first 2024 game. And I'm it's I think people got the opportunity to play this and really loved it. Like it has such a great first impression for people who want this kind of thing in a game.
Yes.
And I think that comes across well, and it allows people to sort of like interact with the system and then play it a second time, play it a third time. There were aspects of the game that frustrate the hell out of me, but I really do like a lot of what it's doing.
For me, I was somewhat shocked that this didn't make it as a Golden Elephant Award finalist.
Oh, interesting.
By the way, I was legitimately surprised that it didn't qualify for one. It just missed the cut.
Yeah.
Literally by one vote. But yeah, I like so much about this game. I love dice drafting, that type. The action selection, the tech tree. It's a civil. That word has become so ingrained in my head now. I can't say civilization game for some reason anymore.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. But no, I think there's no way you can tell that this is a Stefan Feld if you don't know that it's a Stefan Feld. Is it a point salad? Yes.
I mean, the dice are very filled.
Okay, all right, fine. I'll relent on that. All right.
It is definitely a lot more.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is at a scale that he doesn't design on normally.
Yeah.
And so in that regard, fair.
Agreed.
But it's very much a big game. It does have some aspects that I agree that I want to be better or different than the way they are, but overall, I really enjoy it. And this is a game that I actively seek out to play still.
Yeah, as Feld games go, this is one of the better ones.
All right. So Civolution, the first 2024 game, comes in at number 43. All right. Oh, hey, we're going to pause here for a second. Hey, Tony sighting. What's up? I haven't seen you in forever. You are missed. Come back around. I hope Helen is doing well as well.
Yeah.
He's those two are part of OG Herd.
Absolutely.
From up in Scotland, so it's really nice to see.
Missed him at HeavyCon this year.
100%.
Back soon. Yeah.
Yeah, so hope y'all are doing well. So I haven't seen that name here in a while, so apologies. All right, moving on. Number 42, Ken, what you got? Answer to life, the universe, everything, and?
Is it Ore et Labor? Oh, no. Different
Wow.
one. Different one. It's Feast for Odin.
You're a terrible human. You're so mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say right now, I like Ore et Labor better than Feast for Odin.
Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Oh no, that means it's down on the. Anyway, I do too. Feast for Odin is a solo game, regardless of how many players you play it with. To me, it's fine. I think it's really good as a solo. Like I enjoy it as a solo.
I get that. The puzzle of like you have to leave your Vikings on the board for a round, all that stuff.
Yeah,
yeah.
I think it's really well done. As a multiplayer game, no, just it's a miss for me.
So what I would say is like, if you're in the mood for that sort of like it's a weird cross section between like,
show me your Venn diagram.
An
what do we got?
extreme spatial puzzle that you constantly have to wrestle with, but then like really loose worker placement that's kind of cozy.
Yeah.
So if you're in the mood for that very specific thing, get in there. I'm not often in the mood for that, but, you know.
Yeah.
Olivier in chat says, is this Edward Roast the Herd stream? No.
I mean, not yet.
Not yet. It's coming.
We might be getting there, yeah.
Because, again, I don't know what's on this list.
But I mean, it's not surprising in a way, because A Feast for Odin, I think, is more popular in the world than it is in our particular game group, right?
Yeah. And again, obviously, our game group has a significant impact. It's not the end-all, be-all, but it has a significant impact on the community at large, obviously, because this is the one that is on on a TV. Yeah. So anyway, number 42, a fantastic solo game, Feast for Odin. All right, moving on. Number 41, Arkwright. Okay, it's good to see this because Arkwright, again, Golden Elephant Award winner. It hit the table 3 different times,
Definitely
I
saw
think,
people playing it,
at HeavyCon.
Yep.
So that was great to see. There's a new version coming out from Capstone, a second edition coming out later this summer/fall. We're going to be streaming that, so awesome. I know nothing about it other than it has color as opposed to various shades of beige. I know that. Past that, I know nothing about it. That said, it just doesn't feel like it like hit. It did well. People still respect it, obviously, but it feels like it kind of fell off the world to everybody. But yet here it is at number 41. So well done, Herd.
Yeah.
Do y'all played it?
I haven't. Yeah. I tried to play it during HeavyCon, but it didn't happen.
Yeah,
Okay.
I played it a few times. I like. It's one of those games that I like large chunks of, and I dislike a major part that you cannot. If you don't play with it, then you lose.
The overseas shipping or whatever.
I just don't want to do that.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with like this and Through the Ages are my prime examples of games that you have to do something to actually be successful that I have no interest in doing, so I don't enjoy them.
Fair enough. I see Ben Mandelker is in chat. What's up, Ben? He says, I need more Arkwright in my life. And and the nice thing is when we actually stream this, the second edition, some of us will be able to revisit and compare and contrast.
Yeah,
First edition.
Maybe they'll improve this thing that you don't like.
Right, and on you get a chance to try it.
Yeah, I'm
here,
curious. Do you know if there are any sort of...
I know nothing.
Okay.
I know nothing. I know there's color. Past that, I know nothing else. I know the rule book is better, but that's a real low bar.
Yeah.
So, all right, number 41, Golden Elephant Award winner, Arkwright. All right, we have reached the top 40.
Yep.
Number 40,
Ooh,
Race is here.
There you
Race
go.
for the Galaxy. Shrey's one of your top
My
games.
top game, yes.
Yeah.
I'm really glad this made the top 50. It is we talked about it, and I went on, I gushed. This does exactly what you want in a tablet builder, without overwhelming, but focusing entirely on tablet building, and then the card play is spectacular. I'm really glad that this made the top 50. I was a little worried, but
All right, so how many points are we at here with number 40?
So we just crossed into the 900s, 937 for Race.
Okay.
This is one of the first jumps actually between Arkwright and Race of
Almost 100 points.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice. All right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Race for the Galaxy, historically, now keep in mind that I saw a recent comment on our previous stream of Race for the Galaxy that it wasn't, the barrier to entry isn't as high now as it used to be. And I think that's actually a fair statement because back in the day, oh my God, it might as well have been being taught to me in Latin. It was so opaque when I learned this back in 2013. But historically, it's always been said as, it's a really hard game to get new players into because the iconography is really difficult. But I feel like the overall complexity level of a lot of games has gone up since then, and so now Race doesn't seem as intimidating. The app obviously makes this way easy to get into, and it's a great game. I never really honestly get tired of Race for the Galaxy. And Shrey, what is it, 15,000?
Something like that.
15,000 games on the app? I'm not shaming you.
No. I played at least 10 today while I was waiting for various things. So
is that your sole go-to? You pretty much play
currently
that
it's the only
exclusively?
thing I play on my phone.
Okay.
It's
All right.
Nice.
And how long does it take you to play a game on your phone? Again, no judgment. This is interesting
it's
to me.
3 minutes maybe.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Wow!
Yeah.
And you're playing
I play 3-player against the AI.
Okay.
two. So there's two AIs.
I prefer 3-player. Yeah.
Okay.
In that mode, yes.
Okay,
But,
got it.
But Race, Race plays well in every single player account. I've never played it solo, so I can't really talk. Oh, I guess I'm playing solo on my phone.
Yeah, but you're playing 3-player. Yeah.
But it plays well in every single player account.
Okay, there you go. Number 40, Race for the Galaxy. All right, number 39, Shrey, what you got here?
39 is PAX Renaissance, which is a game that I played once when it first came out and had a hard time understanding what the hell I was supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And then never revisited. So I'm curious if either of you have
I've played it a couple of times.
better background on this.
So every time, so the new edition, I don't know if this is the third edition, the second. I played when it was all cards for the map. Right, I haven't played the latest edition. When I saw it being played at HeavyCon, I'm like, what is that? And it looks so completely different than the edition that I'm familiar with that I don't even know if it's the same game.
Oh no, it is definitely the same game. It looks different, but mechanically it's the same.
It is?
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. When Ash taught this on the channel way back when I was in Denver, we played it a number of times. I enjoyed it. It's not in my top, I think 3 or 4 maybe PAX games. But that said, I still enjoy PAX Renaissance.
I love the historical period, so that's a draw for me. I don't think it's quite as sharp as the very best PAX games, but it's pretty damn good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So number 39, PAX Renaissance. Moving on to number 38.
Oh yeah, Through the Ages.
Oh,
That's a good one.
how is it this low, people? Oh, this hurts me.
It just means not that many people play it, I think, right?
You tell me, you have the numbers in front of you.
35 lists out of 140. So
Y'all gotta get playing this. Seriously, it is still to date the best Civilization game in existence.
And but when you say y'all gotta get playing this, are you saying they need to play it in any form they can, which is probably on online or?
I play it however you want to play it, but see, and here's the thing: I understand that there are 2 implementations online.
Yep.
There is
BGA has one,
and there's an app, right?
Right.
There's an app.
Okay, there's a 4th or a 3rd. Then there's another one with no graphics. Really, kind of.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that.
I played that.
That's the one I'm familiar with, and I bounce hard off that. I could be convinced to play it on BGA. The app is fantastic.
App's
but
fantastic.
again,
It really is.
Once you get to that point for me, then I'm like, nah, I'll just play it in person. And even though we're only going to play it maybe once a year or so, it's still one of my all-time absolute favorite games. And a little disappointed in the herd here.
This is probably my go-to
app game.
Like, it's my version of
his race.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can't play it in 3 minutes, but
but
you can play it in about 30 minutes, maybe 25 minutes,
Yeah.
which is a lot faster than.
Yeah, and again, the fact that we're talking about both versions of Through the Ages, the story of Civilization and a new story. Yeah. Although let's be clear, the new story is the only version that you should get.
It is an improvement
across the board, 100%.
Yeah, just a better version of. It's essentially the same game, but just with some small but important improvements.
Right, and mechanical improvements, like they are real things in this game. So yeah, Through the Ages, sad number 38.
Jakob says he would have had it in his top 50, but he hadn't played it yet.
All right, fair enough. Well, hey, there's next year. I expect this moving up. All right, that's number 38. Shrey, what you got for 37?
37 is Vinos, our first Vital game. No spoilers.
I'm not surprised this is not going to be the last, I imagine.
And this is it's got a reprint, which I think reinvigorated the people playing it, because I'm curious to know in the herd which way they typically play it. With the old rules or the new rules. I assume the old rules, because that's what you advocate for. I've only played this.
That's what Vital advocates for, to be clear.
I've only played this 3 times, and I enjoy it. It doesn't hit as well as the other Vital games for me, but it's good. It's good.
Yeah. I this has been my number 1 Vital game from the jump. Before Eagle reprinted it in 2016. So when I first played this think it was in 2014. The 2010 edition was the only version out there. Their Eagle Griffin edition has the rules for the 2016, which takes the bank out, and it softens the game way too much, but it makes it more mass appealing.
Sure.
Which, hey, if it gets more people playing Vinos, that's great. But after they've experienced it, hopefully they try the 2010, which just definitively, and I would argue objectively, is a better rule set and a better game. So you only have, I think it's 12 actions throughout the game, to where you can actually get more actions throughout the game, but it's very tight. It's very, you have to walk a line, but it's, as I've played more and more games, I've learned that, it's a little bit wider than it at first blush, and really enjoy Vinos. So
Yeah, it's good.
yeah, number 37, Vinos. Ken, what you got for 36?
It's Twilight Struggle.
Huh.
Pretty good game.
Pretty decent.
Yeah. Probably my favorite 2-player game.
That's fair.
Yeah.
You played it 50 times or so,
probably.
thereabouts?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's really good.
Do you play the app at all on this?
So, unlike Through the Ages,
Yeah.
the app AI for Twilight Struggle is like laughably bad.
Oh.
And so not really.
Can you play it async with
You
other
can.
humans?
You can't play it async. I don't have a lot of patience for async though.
Okay, that's fair.
Like I don't want to play a game that stretches out over like 20 days usually.
That's
the
fair.
only thing I'm willing to play async is Age of Innovation. I have like a game going async at any given time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played Twilight Struggle a handful of times. You and I have streamed it. We
Yeah.
might want to stream this one again. We're eventually
it.
going to get
I would love to try all the variations. Like, there's the play like the year 0 where you do there's a lot that we could do with it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I think we could probably make that happen. Was number one game on BGG for a number
quite a
of
while.
years.
Yep.
But yeah, so good to see it represented.
And someone was, someone earlier in chat was lamenting, may not see many war games here. Here's a war game.
Yeah,
Is it?
Let's
It
move
might be the closest thing we see to a war game.
Yeah, and that's kind of interesting. And so I think as we do this in years following, I think the war game representation will grow. Just like I think it will grow at HeavyCon as well, as a general rule. So I think we will see more and more of that as we go on.
And when we get to the once we're done getting through all this, and it's just I did pull up the where everything that has a ranked war game ranking on BGG, so I can tell you what the highest that isn't one that probably qualifies as a war game as opposed to some of these that maybe don't.
Twilight Struggle is not a war game, to be clear. All right, so number 36, Twilight Struggle. All right, moving on. Number 35, Obsession. Mm-hmm. Or if you're Tony, Sauvage.
Yeah.
Yes. I think this is a really great job of melding Euro mechanisms with the theme. Think it does a fantastic job. I have gushed about this game throughout the years, and I think it's really well done. Saw table time during HeavyCon, which was great. I like that. Mm-hmm. Have either of y'all played Obsession?
I played the first edition before it first came out, and I think there were some rough edges there. Maybe I kind of want to try the
second edition's really good. Yeah. It really is.
I mean, the bottom line is it has some rough edges. It just does as a game. Yeah. It's not perfect, but I think it's like you can just. It's one of those games where you can just feel the love coming off it, right? Like
this is a passion project, right? Kind of like Stressbotics.
So I'm willing to forgive some flaws for that reason. Yeah.
All right. There you go. So again, speaking, the first and second edition are joined together here, but if you're seeking out a copy of Obsession, definitely recommend the second edition.
For sure.
So
which I think, like, mostly if you're buying it in any retail-ish place, it's going to be the second edition.
I agree. And how many points are we at here on number 35?
That's 1,086.
And I got to ask, where was Through the Ages?
982.
But you like this game too.
No, not to. Number 35, Obsession. All right, moving on. Number 34.
Okay, these are only tie. There's a tie for 33.
Okay, so this is the one that lost out.
Yeah, that's
on
right.
this tie.
33 lists versus 35 lists.
Oh, so
Pretty close.
Very close. So
I mean, it was going to have to be close to hit the same exact number anyway.
yeah,
right?
okay,
So-
fair point. So number 34 is Oath.
Yeah, I mean, we all really enjoy while we're playing this.
Yeah, don't we, James? We really do.
Yeah, it's
we
good
really,
stuff. I
really
love
do.
it.
Yeah, I mean, we have an ongoing series, second season of it
Yeah.
going. Like, obviously, we don't need to beat this one over the head. We all really enjoy Oath. I think it's a fantastic story, the story that comes out of the game, I think, is really great. So number 34, Oath, and the one that won the tie with Oath, Gaia Project. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this is the game that people prefer. Maybe because the modular board.
It is. I mean,
Clearly it is.
The vote has spoken.
But is it because of the modular board? What's the reason? Because I prefer this one. What's it? Those cubes. What are those called? The QC.
Yeah, quickies.
Yeah, whatever they are. I don't.
Yeah.
I find that whole thing a bit too overwrought, and Age of Innovation is the only one I want to play of the three right now. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to play Twilight Struggle. Age of Innovation, I think, is my favorite right now. Gaia Project is also great. I have heard from folks that the Lost Fleet, which is the Gaia Project expansion, really does improve it.
And when you say heard from folks, you mean strong players that really enjoy the Terra Mystica universe that these games fall in, right? Yeah.
I just like this one. Like it's always been a lot less favorite for me than Terra Mystica.
Why?
It's looser.
Okay.
It really doesn't provide the same possibility of blocking that you get in the other two games.
Okay. There are ways to work around it. This is Caverna to Agricola.
Yeah.
In your estimation, then the comparison there.
And there's more tracks, which isn't for me better.
Sure. Temple tracks.
Yeah. And I mean, so look, Terra Mystica takes a lot of heat for the 4 cult tracks.
Yes.
I get it. I understand why people don't like it. I have played the game enough that I really love it because it's a sort of subtle, hard to handle, interesting, nuanced part of that game. But I get when other people might not like it. But I think the tracks in Gaia Project are for me just a little less interesting. So,
Okay. Fair enough.
that's kind of where I land.
All right. So Gaia Project number 33. And Tony, I'm sorry. Sausage. There you go. Inside joke. I miss my friend, so it's nice to see him here.
Yeah.
All right. Number 32. What you got, Ken?
Or Labora. Oh, no, La Havre.
Oh, my.
I mean, it's almost the same.
Oh, you wound me. You wound me.
This is pretty good too, though.
No,
right?
it is. La Havre.
Yeah.
It's, again, of the big three, kind of, for Uwe, the classic three of Agricola, La Havre, and Or Labora. La Havre, we recently streamed it, and Kyle, being a millennial, I can't believe we let him win. That's embarrassing, but whatever.
And say what he said.
Yeah, and that he would prefer Sankore over La Havre, but...
Wow.
Apples and giraffes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that hurt me.
I mean, they're both good games.
Oh, I mean, again, Sankore, Golden Elephant Award finalist.
Yeah.
But slow down.
Yep.
Anyway, La Havre, classic Uwe.
It's a good one.
It's a great game.
Yep.
Resource conversion game at its core. But again, just because now I'm a little worried that Aura's not on the list. This is my one opportunity. The reason I like Aura more than La Havre is in La Havre, you're building the buildings. In Or Labora, you're doing similar, not exact, but similar, but then there is the puzzle of where you're placing, and it matters. in Aura more so than and it doesn't in Le Havre.
I hear that. I mean, Le Havre has different points of decision tension.
100%.
It's also very good. It's just different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I'm not sure which game I would pick, honestly.
they're both great. I mean, I'm splitting hairs honestly between them. I think they're both fantastic. So well done, Herd. Number 32, Le Havre. All right, number 31, Hansa Teutonica.
This makes me happy.
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
very good game.
Old
Great
school
game.
It's not. I mean, it's funny. What's funny is like it's not that old of a game.
Yeah, what is
Wait,
it?
2010? No, okay,
2009,
9.
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think it feels classic.
Yes. Yeah, this feels old,
Yeah.
right? It feels, and I say this, but now I don't know how old El Grande is, but it feels...
If that's what I was just gonna say. If you told me it was published the same year as El Grande, I'd be like,
oh yeah,
okay.
sure it did.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
A classic Euro, probably best at 5 players, and snappy turns, and mean as all get out, and just classic Euro, really classic Euro. And I mean, it's traveling in the Mediterranean area in the old world.
It is not in the Mediterranean. Sorry,
The old
Germany.
world. The old world, not the Mediterranean. Fair. Geography for the win.
El Grande, they're closing publication. El Grande was
90
14 years earlier.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like 95.
95, yeah, 95.
But again, if you told me that Hansa Teutonica was from 95, I'd be like, sure, I'll buy that.
Yep, it's got that feel of like a classic. I mean, it's obviously a little more embroidered than like a Knizia, but it's got that same feel of like simple rules, hard decisions.
Yep.
So
Yeah. So number 31, Hansa Teutonica, and well done, Herd. Proud of y'all. Good job. I think it's great to see that this isn't just from the 20s. You know what I mean? Like from the 2020s, and like again, not as old as we think, but still predates me in the hobby, which I appreciate. So awesome. Number 31, Hansa Teutonica. All right, we have reached the top 30. Ken.
Dominant Species.
There you go. A little low, but it's on here. We played a 6-player game of it. 6-player is not the best player count for Dominant Species. I'll be the first to admit it. Still an enjoyable experience. But 4 to 6, absolutely great game. Classic worker placement, action programming as well, because you're placing your workers, and then they're activating top to bottom, left to right. But those dominance cards, there is a lot of simple math that goes on in this game, comparing dominance constantly, but it is still, God, this better be ranked higher than Marine, is all I got to say. It is the better of the two, in my opinion, but I do have the question, and I think it's a fair question. Dominant Species, outside of poker, in Age of Steam, Dominant Species is the game I've played the most, because I think it was the third hobby board game that I ever got introduced to.
And you played it a lot.
And I played it 30 plus times, which for a board game in my world is a lot.
And for a board game that even at 4, it's pretty long.
Yeah, it can be about 3 hours.
It's a big investment. Yeah.
So I wonder now that because that's all baked in, I wonder if Marine was the first one I'd played.
Sure.
If I would still feel that the base Dominant Species, again, Birmingham versus Lancashire, right, for brass. I wonder if I would enjoy Marine more, because I think Marine, it does a really good job of making it feel like Dominant Species, but being it changes the game in meaningful ways that are also enjoyable. Sure. So I wonder if it's just because I played it so much, it's kind of ingrained. Oh, I'm going to, by default, prefer the base. I keep calling it base, but the original Dominant Species. I love the game. It's a top 10 game for me. Will probably always remain there for me. Y'all don't feel nearly as strong about this.
It's a really good game. It's one of those games that like I like it a lot better than the rule book says I should, if that makes sense. Like it does some stuff that I would normally say this is not the kind of game I like.
Yeah.
But the experience of the game I like quite a bit. Like the events,
the dominance,
and how little control you have over those as a player. I don't love that. right? And I would sort of objectively say, like, I'm not going to like a game like this, but I have never not enjoyed play of it. So
Okay.
Yeah, no, I've played it a bunch of times. It's always a fun experience. I'm curious whether Marine. It's hard for me to judge whether Marine is just an easier game for people to play first. Whether it removes some of the frustrating complexity that might exist in the original.
I could see that.
Because I think it's maybe Marine is like slightly gentler.
it's definitely gentler.
Oh, it's very much
Yeah.
less sharp elbows. That is without a doubt the case. Which interesting because it is a area majority. Not really area control, but area majority. In a sense that so is kind of El Grande, and I bounce hard off El Grande because I feel like the elbows are too sharp in that game.
You don't really bounce hard off it. You like it when we play it.
I get pounded. El Grande brings out the worst in me.
Yeah.
And I don't like.
You get frustrated by it.
I do. Whereas I don't in Dominant Species. And that says something about me that I don't know.
Because you understand the system better.
That probably is the case also because more experience. That also makes sense. Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, Dominant Species, number 30. And we're at what on the score?
1184.
Okay, so it's still pretty. It's not drastic even between 50 and 30.
It's really not.
Because High Frontier at 50 was what?
737.
Yeah.
And this is
1184.
Yeah, I mean, meaningful. It's 400 points, but
like a big jump between these is like 70 points.
Right.
We're not seeing big jumps, and we will eventually see some big jumps, but not yet. Yeah.
All right. So Dominant Species, top 30. Well done, Herd. All right, number 29.
Indonesia.
The first splatter.
First splatter
we've seen.
And
okay.
Is it my favorite? No, it's my second favorite, I think. Yeah, it's my second favorite. It's got the operations side, which is frustrating, but and I understand that.
Tedious.
Tedious in a certain. Well, I mean, I think it's manageable if you've played it enough.
And at higher player count. But finish your thought.
But the rest of the game is spectacular. And the rest of the game like feeds into how the operations play out. So it's critical for the operations is critical for the game. And
I agree.
And playing online, which I know you don't want to do, but does remove that tedium from it, which is nice.
Yeah, that's fair.
And it's excellent spotter.
Yeah, it's really good.
Merger mechanism, still don't know why no game has introduced this or used this as well. I think, again, it's one of those rare games that does the inverse in time based on player count. So 3 players, 5 hours, 4 players, 4 hours, 5 players, 3 hours.
Yeah.
Generally in person. Sure, your group plays it faster, slower, whatever, I get it. But as a general rule, I feel like that's pretty good. And at the higher player count, the companies don't get so big that the tedium of the operations is lessened.
Yeah.
And so I like it at the higher player counts. But that said, marvelous game.
I
fantastic.
I think I preferred 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I preferred it 4 or 5.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I've ever tried it at 3 before. I'm curious to do that, but I played it at 4 and 5.
But again, at 3, like that's a perfect like convention, like in a perfect game day. If I had 3 players, like hey, and I had 5 hours. Hey, let's bust this out. I can see that.
And the reprint is coming this year at some point. And after seeing the art, I was like, maybe I should have pre-ordered that. Because my copy is nice, but the updated art is very nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Great negotiation game.
Everything, isn't it? Especially when James is here.
It's a great negotiation game.
Number 29, Indonesia. All right. Number 28, Hegemony.
There we go.
Lead your class to victory.
Yeah.
This is the absolute. Is it? No, I take it back. I think this was the poster boy for me of I appreciate what it does. I admire it. I don't ever really want to play it anymore. That's the game that was there. There's been a game that has supplanted that for me, but yeah, that's where I fall with hegemony.
Yeah, I have a feeling that I owe this game more plays.
Same.
Because I think it's possible that there might be some emergent complexity in the game that I haven't seen, but I feel the same way you do about it.
Yeah, so for me, it's a similar feeling, but I would be thrilled to play it if someone else an expert is gonna run the game for me.
Like GM it.
Yeah. And be part of the game also, right?
Sure.
I don't mind getting like my ass kicked, right?
Yeah,
sure.
But like, I don't want to have to remember all the things.
I don't want to be the one referencing rulebook or even having somebody else constantly
And
do
I
that.
I read a ton of rule books all the time just in preparation for playing. Like I read a bunch of rule books the weekend before HeavyCon just to prepare because I knew I was going to want to teach some things. But this one, for some reason, I don't know what it is. Is it just hit a barrier for me that I don't want to deal with that? I don't know. But I think the game is awesome. Like when every time I've gotten to play it in the right scenario, it's fantastic. Tells a great story.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So number 28, hegemony. All right, moving on. Number 27, game I haven't played.
Spirit Island.
Yeah. It's
We got it around here.
yeah, it's somewhere around here. Solo, I want to try it. It's a co-op. I have no interest in playing it as a co-op, but I do have a lot of interest in playing it solo eventually.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not really a solo games guy either. I have played it. I see why people like the design. It's not really my jam.
Yeah. I played it once, and I guess I could revisit it eventually, but yeah.
I mean, I think like if you somehow are stuck on Pandemic and you love that and you haven't tried this, you should buy it right now because I think it's a much more interesting version of the Pandemic thing than Pandemic.
So
A lot more opportunities for like skill and clever play than in Pandemic.
Okay, so this may or may not come as a surprise to you. I've never played Pandemic. I obviously am familiar with it. I know the game, but I've never played it. So how unpack it a little bit for me?
I mean, there's just more complexity to the game, which means there's more potential skill level, which means you can potentially do cooler stuff once you understand how the game works and what's coming at you.
Okay, and so Pandemic is more.
There's just Pandemic. You only have like 3 or 4 levers. That you can pull.
Got it.
Spirit Island, you have a lot.
Okay, that makes
Right,
sense.
and so like not to mention there's like a bunch of different like spirits that you can play with, which are sort of equivalent to like roles in Pandemic, except the role in Pandemic has like a little thing that's different, whereas a spirit like. Each one has its own deck of cards, but then you're going to build out the board differently every time.
So it's
pretty elaborate.
Okay.
Right. So, I mean, it's a lot more complex game than Pandemic, and I think for folks that are interested in this channel,
Yeah.
if you love co-op games, this is probably the one you should be playing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also everything I've heard, fantastic as a solo. So, for me, the appeal for this was the scenarios, the real world scenarios that you can set up in Spirit Island. Sounded really interesting to me years and years ago, and it just never caught. And then Paul was like, "Here, I have everything for Spirit Island.
Yeah.
You should try this," and I just haven't gotten to it yet. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So number 27, Spirit Island. All right. And the final one before we hit the top 25, Raw.
Excellent.
I mean,
Excellent.
it's one of the great Knizias.
It's pretty good.
It's better than pretty good.
Tied for the oldest game on our list,
Is it?
in the top 50 anyway.
Yeah. Okay. When did Raw come out?
99.
Okay. Whoa. Oh. Hashtag spoiler. El Grande didn't make the list.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay. Well, that's okay. All right. I mean, look, we can gush about Raw, but we've played it a lot on here. We've talked about it. It's fantastic. If you haven't played it, go play it.
Well, and I mean, like, so we had that game of Weimar. We thought we might finish early. And there was a reason we picked Raw as, like, the game to stream after it.
Right.
Like, it's the ultimate heavy filler.
It absolutely is. Yeah, it's so good.
So-
Never won it. one day I feel convinced I will win Raw. I'm terrible at it, but I love it.
I think you might. Didn't you win on that stream?
I did not.
Okay.
Somebody can call me a liar. I would feel better if I could win Raw. So yeah, that'd feel good.
I have won it before. I would not say I win a lot, but I've won it before.
All right, so that is number 26. All right, so y'all ready? Top 25, stretch a little bit. What are y'all thinking so far? Everybody watching live. Hopefully you're enjoying this. And here's my thought. If you're upset at where things are ranked,
Yeah.
there's a fix for that.
I already saw several of those. Like somebody was like, "Can't believe Oath tied with Gaia Project. I gotta put in my list next year so I can put Oath number 1."
There you go.
Love it. Love it. That was the solution.
If there is ever you want agency,
Yeah.
in this on this channel,
Yep.
this is your opportunity.
Right.
If you're not a patron, become one. So I guess it's a pay to play. Whatever. Support the show, and you can be a part of the community. Submit your list next year. Follow your heart. Have some fun.
And if there's anything we're seeing with these point totals, someone putting in 50 points for a game is going to be able to make a difference.
It will. So here's your chance.
Unless another person comes in and votes for Gaia Project. That's still be time.
So I'm just saying there is I don't have a graphic for having the list up to this point, like they're one by one. I don't have like a conglomerate, but I'm sure after the fact it'll be available in Slack. Somebody will do it up in the comments down below. Somebody is definitely going to make the list available.
Yeah.
The whole 9 yards. So you'll be able to do it that way.
Somebody asked a question about whether Raw is good at 5.
It's good at every number. Except, well, does it play 2? I don't even know.
So Martin swears it is good at 2.
Oh.
He and Cindy played at 2, and he says it's good.
Interesting.
I
Because
mean,
auction games you don't think good at
Shouldn't
2.
be good at 2. It's certainly good at 3.
Yes.
And it is amazing at 4 and 5.
Yeah.
So-
Basically 3 to 5, the answer is yes. And if you need if you have 6, you have 2 options. You break off into 2 groups of 3 for Raw, or you play Medici.
Yep.
Like if you're looking for that tends to be where our group falls.
Yeah.
There are other games that we could choose as well, to be clear. All right, moving on. Number 25, Arcs. This is another 2024 game.
Yep.
Y'all go first on this one.
This is the only game in the top 50 I have not played.
Interesting.
I know. I've been trying. It just hasn't happened. So
Now I need to look and see. There's at least one.
Well, Spirit Island.
Okay, yeah. All right, keep going. So, Ken?
Yeah, I mean, I obviously like it quite a bit. I was on the. It's a finalist, right? For you're gonna do that part.
No, keep going.
Yeah, I think it is yet another attempt by Cole, like a meditation on sort of seriality in games, like his sort of answer to like what a legacy game might look like if it wasn't a legacy game. And yet another, I think, extremely interesting sort of solution to that problem. It's real wacky. I think at this point I'm in a space where I really only want to play the 3-game campaign. And you just get some weird stuff. Like, by the 3rd game of the campaign, the rules are inevitably pretty strange in one way or another. And I feel like we're just kind of scratching the surface. So I want to play it a lot more.
I am the polar opposite of you.
Okay.
So I've said, so this is probably the most divisive game that I struggle with right now.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoy Arcs
Yep.
as a Leaders in Lore single game.
Interesting. Okay.
Kind of like Space Court, Apples and Giraffes.
Sure.
I'm just going to the one aspect where I'm comparing them.
Yeah.
I actually enjoy. I enjoy, don't love, enjoy the first 2 games in the ARCS campaign.
Okay.
Where it jumps the shark for me is in game 3, that it is so chaotic. It is so Calvin Ball and the interactions get to be so complex.
Yeah.
That there's so much rules referencing and so high likelihood that you're not going to get it right. That you're going to mess something up or you're not going to play this right. Which, if we're playing here, I don't care about. But on the channel, we try and get it right. And that is a real big struggle that I have.
Yeah.
That I'll play the campaign. I know that there's demand for it. I know people want to see it. It's not like pulling teeth for me.
Sure.
But this is the game that I appreciate more than I enjoy.
Yeah.
This is the game that has supplanted Hegemony for me as that game that I appreciate. I think it's really impressive, and I don't dislike playing it. I do enjoy playing it. I'm not anxious to play.
Yeah. I mean, maybe I think that is obviously really tied to the like special position you have
Of streaming showing the game off.
Right.
Fair. Yeah.
And so I wonder if like the solution, which is not a solution we're probably going to carry out, but it's a solution we could carry out, would just be to
play it more off screen. Yeah. I get that. Theoretically, but again, that's just where I find myself.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm glad that ARCS exists. I think there are a huge amount of people. Obviously, it's a new game and it's already in top 25, right? Obviously, there's a huge swath of people that really enjoy the game, and I don't think anyone's wrong. Like you said, you prefer the campaign.
Yeah.
I prefer the first 2 games of the campaign, i.e., probably the standalone game.
Yeah.
With leaders and lore, but yeah, no one's wrong in any of this. Just
I will say, Leaders in Lore, pretty fun.
it is pretty good.
Pretty fun. I like campaign. I like better though.
Okay,
So,
and that's totally fair. So, by the way, we're at the end of all this. We are going to talk about the Golden Elephant Award finalists, as well as the People's Choice. We'll make that announcement at the end of all this as well.
ARCS, like whichever one you mentioned before,
Civolution
is a finalist.
It is a finalist.
Yeah.
This did absolutely. In fact, the absolute only game from 2024 that was the absolute no-brainer. Out of all the lists, the only people who didn't vote for it were the ones who hadn't played it. That's it. Everybody put it as a finalist for what it's worth. That doesn't mean that it wins. It's just because it's a different voting, right? So anyway. But so number 25, ARCS. And obviously I felt like this was going to... I'm a little surprised it's this low, honestly, because I know.
I think it's because it's maybe still a little bit new for people and they just haven't got around to it, or people in chat are agreeing with your position. So
are they?
Yeah, there is.
And again,
at least a couple.
Again, I'm not saying that I'm right. I'm just saying this is where I fall on this, right?
Yeah.
So okay, cool. Number 25, ARCS. Moving on to number 24, Shrey, what you got?
24 is Bus, the other 1999 game.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, Bus, dude, Capstone did them a huge solid.
I agree.
Yeah.
Because Bus was never talked about as one of the big splatters. Ever. Until the reprint happened.
But it's deserving, I think.
Oh yeah. What's amazing about it is how much game you get out of something that it is very, very tight and it's not a long game.
Yeah. It's I mean I assume Great Zimbabwe is going to be on here later, but the Bus in Great Zimbabwe, a lot of game in a not lot of time.
Yeah.
Right? Experience. So you're talking 90 minutes, 2 hours at most, right? For Bus. Yeah, it's got the quirkiness of Splatter, but also the really great gameplay of a Splatter that you would expect. And it hits, and you have the modern art of it compared to the original version with the reprint. And again, this game just wouldn't have gotten the new life that it was given without the
I've only
reprint.
ever played it on the new edition.
Yeah, me too.
So-
Because I didn't have the. I'm sure there were people who I knew who had the old edition, who have the old
Right.
edition.
It was just hard to
probably-
get.
I'm sure
Right.
you
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
it.
Exactly.
But,
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah. Again, higher than I would have expected, but
Yeah.
cool. All right. So number 24, Bus. Ken, what you got for 23?
Number 23 is Brass Lancashire.
So OG Brass.
Yes.
OG Brass.
Okay. I'm sure you guys are going to talk about Brass
And Brad,
later,
Yes,
but
yes.
anyways, surprisingly low. So
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
Well, but I do think there's some of that effect where like people maybe are not going to vote for both.
it's kind of like what you did in
Yeah.
yours, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you pick one of them, and
You picked
I
the
wonder
worst,
if
you picked
there's
the
some.
worst one because for some reason that's rated higher on.
I think recency bias plays
Yeah.
a part here because Birmingham is the newer, so I assume that's going to be higher. But
Yeah.
we'll see.
And I mean, this is also, I think there is some bias towards complexity, right? And Birmingham is a little more complex, right?
Yeah, it is. It's
Really?
There's what like six different types of tiles. You got beer. You got to manage your beer as well as the iron and coal. It is definitely more complex.
See, and I think of it as it's looser.
It is that too.
So I don't see it as more. I'm not saying you're wrong, but I don't see it as more complex. I see it as Birmingham is looser, wider, and that's why Caverna's ranked higher than Agricola.
Well, but Caverna's not more. I guess no, it's not more complex than Agricola. Not
No,
really.
but again, that I fall back on that as far as like a looser game like type thing.
Yeah, it is
but-
probably a bit looser, I guess. But I think that's I mean, it's still not that loose.
fair. No,
Yeah.
no arguments
Yeah.
there. But yeah, I mean, Brass Lancashire. Guess what? Hall of Fame game. Like it's brass. So for those that are unclear about this, Brass Lancashire is OG brass. That is brass.
Right. Brass.
And then the Martin Wallace design from way back in the day. I don't remember what year it came out.
Oh.
But Brass Birmingham is the newer version of brass.
I think
so.
it's 2007.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So number 23, OG Brass, Brass Lancashire, but with really pretty artwork from Roxley. So well done,
Yes.
them. All right. Moving on. Number 22, Root,
Yeah.
higher than Oath.
There's
The people that love
yeah.
Root love Root.
Yeah.
Hi, Kyle.
And it has expansions
Out the
galore.
wazoo.
It's like,
Yes. Good job, leader. They like money. Don't blame them. Root, it's fine. It is a war game. I will die on that. I will die on that hill. It's a war game with cuddly animals.
Kind of a starter war game, basically.
It 100% is. 100%.
Yeah.
To me, they are different, but Oath replaced Root, even though they're different games.
Yeah.
But that 4-player, just asymmetric, weird stuff going on,
Yeah.
Cole game, for me, that's Oath, and Root has been replaced in that regard.
Well, so do you guys remember? Did you pay enough attention to Root during the Kickstarter
The
to remember
original
what the
Kickstarter?
original? Yeah. Do you remember what the original rule set was like?
No.
Pre.
I never
whole
played it,
development
but
cycle?
I
yeah,
know,
because they do like a year and a half, 2 years after
Yeah.
the campaign to
So
make
the
finish
original
game.
rule set was a lot weirder.
Okay.
And I don't think anybody can argue with the fact that the changes they made were good because the game is obviously wildly successful in every
Sure.
lane, right?
Yes.
So clearly they did the right thing. But I did actually prefer the original rule set because it was a little wackier,
Okay.
right? Like, like victory wasn't necessarily pegged to 30 points. There was like other stuff you had to do, and the factions were like farther away from each other in terms of their like asymmetry.
Yeah.
So, I like that a little bit better. But I mean, I think the final product is
Pretty great.
pretty inarguable. I think it's still pretty good.
Again, it's another that I appreciate.
Yeah.
I just, yeah. Alyssa in chat asks, is Is Root a coin game or coin adjacent?
Ooh, interesting.
So with the new series from GMT, the ICS series, right? The Irregular Conflict, which is where Cross Bronx Expressway and Guest of Robin Hood, Vijayanagar, where those live. Would this live in that world?
For me,
Yeah.
the event selection is so central to coin that I would say no.
Okay.
But I see how she gets there.
Okay. So yeah, and again, I think it's. I mean, are we all here? I'm not trying to push it on you, but I think it's cut and dried. It's a war game.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I don't particularly care too much about the classification, but it doesn't have the feeling that when I think war game, I think of a different kind of thing. I think those tiny little chits and a
hex encounter. Yeah. Okay, that's fair.
It has minimal chrome.
It does.
You don't have to worry about stuff like staying in supply or right.
But it's still again just trying to head off the arguments that are coming. Just CYA a little bit. All right. So number 22, Root. By the way, that's a second or third Cole Worley, I'm not sure. But again,
third.
Yeah, third. Yeah. Not surprising. What are the other two? Oath and Arcs, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, number 21. Here's one I haven't played.
Oh, there you go.
No,
you have played
this.
You did
play
you
this.
Because
you don't like it.
Yes.
Oh,
I remember,
this is that one.
Yes. I came up, you were playing it in here.
Have you not played OG Dune?
I've maybe played it once. I think I've played it once. I think it's been over a decade since I played OG Dune. Okay. By the way, we probably ought to actually talk about for the podcast. Dune Imperium, number 21.
Yeah.
How the hell y'all got this high? I don't get it. Now, to be fair, I haven't played the new version or the expansion or whatever that fixes it.
Yeah.
Kind of like Viticulture needed Tuscany to fix it.
But so let me ask.
Anyway.
Did we roll those two together?
Which ones?
Dune Imperium and Dune Imperium Uprising.
Yeah, Uprising is I think.
But are they really the same?
Yeah, well, here's the thing.
I think they're maybe at least as different as Brass Lancashire and Brass Birmingham.
I've only played the base, so I can't really say anything about that.
I will say, here's my experience with Dune Imperium. I played this, and I'm like, this is boring as hell. Why is this game? Oh, I know why this game's popular. Because it has 4 letters. D-U-N-E.
And I didn't enjoy my one play either, but I can't be it. That can't be the only reason, right? It can't be. It's so highly rated on PG.
Because of the expansion. People have told me, oh, you hated this. I get it. It wasn't great back then. Now it's really, really good. Yeah. With what is the expansion?
Rise of Ix, maybe.
Sure, whatever.
There's also like an Uprising expansion. I don't know what that
Uprising is just like it's an expand alone. Like it's its own.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
will say I've only played with the expansion.
Okay.
And it did not make my top 50, but I think it's pretty good.
Really? Wow. To put it in that means like it was at least in the consideration.
Yeah, I mean, I think I ultimately have it rated a 7, which means it wasn't like truly in consideration, but I think it's a good game.
Yeah, we should try to get it done.
Here's what I'll say. I hear y'all. I am totally willing to try it with the expansion. I will never play this game without it, however that works.
But
I was like,
what has actually come out of this conversation?
Yeah.
Is that we need to play the original one.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah, 6-player. Yeah. Well, Shrey's not going to be a part of that. Yeah, exactly.
That's okay. I'm sure we can find some.
Hold on. I mean, there's you, there's me, there's a Kyle. I imagine there's, say, a James.
Yeah.
Greg would probably be a good one.
Yeah.
And then
I'm sure John would get in on
John
that,
would absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
And I understand, Alyssa. I understand. But if and when the time comes that you make your way back across the border,
be great.
That'd be awesome. So,
I call Bene Gesserit.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever. Anyway, so Dune Imperium number 21. Okay.
Yep.
Moving on. All right, number 20, Terraforming Mars. Sure, I get it.
Yeah. It's game a lot of people love.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's got that so where Race of the Galaxy is a card tableau builder. This is a card tableau builder with a hell of a lot more. It's also one of those games you'll categorize as a lifestyle game for people, right? Because it is
for sure.
It certainly falls in that Great Western Trail world. Here, Terraforming Mars does as well. Yeah,
sure. I mean, I like it as a solo game.
Oh.
I don't think I ever need to play it again multiplayer.
On an app or on the table.
Either way.
Oh, okay.
I mean, not on the table because I don't own it. But
oh, sure.
I mean, I guess in theory on the table, I don't really do that, but on the app, yeah.
Terraforming Mars, I feel like, is one of those really, I can't. You either like it or you really don't. Like, there's just really no middle ground on this one.
I admire quite a bit about the design. Like, I think the way that they worked in like the achievements, and the milestones, super smart. Clearly a designer in love with the topic.
Yep.
I don't know, just not my bag ultimately.
For me, I have had enough. It's overstayed its welcome games that I don't really need to revisit this too much more. I appreciate what it does. I know the fans out there that enjoy it, all for it.
Yeah.
I will say, if I'm going to play this, playing Jeff's copy specifically, or Scott's copy of this specifically,
fancied up.
Oh, they are seriously tricked out.
Yeah.
That makes it better, but it's not a game I'm ever going to seek out. My biggest issue with the game is if people don't terraform Mars, the game just overstays by a long shot. And comboing and getting this card out and then, I got this, and it's just not for me. But I'm not saying people are wrong for enjoying it.
Nope.
Having it in top 20 makes totally sense.
We're
Total
obviously in the
sense.
minority.
We are, 100%. I get that. And there's a lot of people in our group that would say we're wrong. We have the right to be wrong here.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that.
For sure.
But yeah, so Terraforming Mars, those that like it, love it. So totally understand. And where are we on votes-wise or scoring?
1,405, the first 1,400.
Okay, there we go. Going up from here.
Yep.
So that's number 20. Moving on, Ken, number 19.
Great Zimbabwe.
Oh, well, there we go.
Yes.
Yet another splotter.
A little low, but okay, top 20. That's cool. Good.
Yeah, I mean...
90-minute game. And this is the game that brought Splatter into modern graphics, I would argue.
Sure.
Kind of
kind
of eclipse that from going from the Antiquity and Roads and Boats graphic design or art.
Definitely cuter than Roads and Boats.
Facts.
Yeah, definitely.
It has a mechanism in this that I'm, again, surprised that other games haven't taken from this.
Okay.
And that is, if it's a race game to, I think it's 25 points.
Right.
You get rule breakers. You can choose rule breakers. But when you choose rule breakers, they're adding to you're pushing out the win condition for yourself. So it was 25, now it's 27.
Yeah.
Now it's 30. Now it's, the more of this you get, the further out it's going to go. Mm-hmm. And I think that's such a clever thing. I love that so much. And again, in a tidy 90-minute game,
there's so much about the game that just is mechanically really the way the bidding mechanism works, the way you're spreading your cows around,
yes,
the bidding, super clever. The way that the sort of network works in the game is super clever, and all of those are things that you just it's one of one for all of those things.
Yes.
So
and again,
it's great.
If I'm a designer, I'm looking at what Splatter does and I'm stealing some of the mechanisms there and figuring but again, that's me.
Yeah, no, I really enjoy the Zimbabwe. It's one I haven't really played in the closely enough together to figure it out, figure out how to approach it, and so it's always like 3 years between plays, and that's not how I should handle that. So
Fair enough. So Great Zimbabwe, yet another splatter. Number 19, again, not surprised that it's on the list at all.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Number 18. Oh, there we go. I knew it had to be on here. Great Western Trail.
Yep. You went with the original.
Oh, no, I did not, Derek.
Shoot out at Uncanny Corral.
Box cover.
Yes,
on this. It's creepy. I appreciate it. And there have been 17 different spin-offs of this game. Those that like it, this falls in the exact same category as Terraforming Mars for me. And it's a lifestyle game.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like really different than Terraforming Mars because this one actually is quite interactive. But I get it.
You enjoy it.
Yeah, I think it's a really good game. Yeah.
It's one of those games that and this is true of most Alexander Fisher games for me, is I played them once, I'm like, oh, this is fun. I like exploring this. I played a second time, and the third time, I'm like, and then a fourth time, I'm like, I'm done.
You got enough out of it.
I got what I wanted.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing anything more interesting, so I sort of move on.
What's the appeal to you? Because obviously it's number 18. There's a huge appeal. I get it. So talk on the positive side of things.
So okay. I'm gonna just throw this out there.
Yes,
This is just what landed at the top of my brain. So let's say that maybe it is the stuff that somebody might like about Dominion, but more complex, right? So you get a board state at the very beginning, and you're like, all right, well, this is where the common action spaces are. And I have, pretty much perfect information, right? This is what cows are available in the cow market. This is what sort of employees are available in the hiring market. Now, what's my optimum play, right? Like, where do I start my guy? How do I get my sort of route set up so that I can hit all the stuff I want to hit in the minimum number of stops on the way to Kansas City, right? I think, and every game that's a little different. Every game, I think it's probably maybe better or worse to do cowboy versus builder versus engineer, right? So finding ways to do little hybrids or combos.
So this, it just occurred to me, this is more akin to Terraforming Terra Mystica.
For sure. Yeah, in my book, it's way closer. I don't like it as much as that game, but it's way closer.
Yeah, that's a better comparison. I realized that I said Terraforming Mars. I meant Terra Mystica World. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Yes. And when I say lifestyle game, look, chess is like a true lifestyle. Sure. Like, this is the only game I play. I don't mean it that way.
Yeah.
What I mean is Twilight Struggle, Tigris and Euphrates. Again, the Terra Mystica World.
But so
this.
we could say like these are all games that are really well suited for like tournaments.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Right? Like these are all games where like it would make sense in a world where more people love board games for there to be like,
the World Championship.
National Championship of
Great Western Trail. Right. And it's that. So there you go. That I think actually kind of put a bow on it for me finally. Like, what is it about these games that it's the games that would make good tournament games I tend to not
love,
because I'm never going to get to a level that is even moderately competitive. And so that's why I think I accept that and I'm okay with it.
Sure.
It's just not my jam.
Yeah.
Now, people were asking where this fell on the list, number 18. Is this just all the Great Western Trails put together?
It is not. It's Great Western Trail and the second edition of Great Western Trail.
Okay.
It's not Argentina or New Zealand.
Okay, good.
I did not combine those.
Okay, got it. So there we go. Yeah, so there you go. That's, Great
Because
Western Trail.
just like Brass and Brass Lancashire, they're different games.
They are. That's fair. All right. Moving on. Number 18, Great Western Trail. Again, those that like it really like it.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Number 17, Barrage.
Yeah.
Wow, people really like this. I need to play it more. I have not played Barrage since we streamed it during the campaign.
Mm-hmm.
I have it, just haven't gotten it to the table. So I want to play this more. I think it's...
Yeah, I've only played it once.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
And I somewhat bounced off of it.
Yeah, me too.
And I think I probably owe it at least one more play.
Yes.
This is on the short list. Okay, I say short list. We
Yeah.
have we have a list collectively that everybody here at HCHQ can contribute to of games either we need to get back to or games that I really want to play. It's about 75, 80 games long.
Mm-hmm.
Barrage is on that list already. And it's absolutely got to get back to the table. I mean, y'all love it.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. Yeah, and Martin Fowler says this is one we haven't played since the prototype. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's been a hot minute. So yeah, that's a like a blind spot for all of us,
Yeah.
honestly, within HCHQ. So clearly we need to remedy that. So feel free to gush eloquently in chat, and if you're listening on a podcast, tell us why we need to. If you're watching this after the fact, leave a comment down below and tell us why. But we are going to.
ton of comments coming through about
Yeah,
Barrage.
good.
So, yeah.
All right, so that's number 17, Barrage. Number 16.
Tricerion.
All right, there you go, Derek. This is the game I think that Mind Clash just nailed. It's perfect. In a sense that it has its rough edges. It's difficult. It's overwrought. And I love it so much. Plus,
Yeah.
I'm the world's biggest 5-year-old when it comes to Magic. So the theme absolutely hits for me. Yay, heard.
Yeah. It's another Mind Clash game. I said earlier, I for some reason they don't connect with me. So it's not one I want to revisit.
I mean, the thing I like about this game is that it's such a tight worker placement game.
Yeah.
Like, really, it's a game where you it's pretty rare, even in a tight game like Agricola, where you get to a point where you're like, oh man, yeah, I can't actually do anything productive with this last action.
Right.
Even if it's like, oh, I'm going to do this thing that might help me out in 3 or 4 turns, you can still do something. But in Tricerion, if you mess around, your last worker, you might be like, well, this thing is doing basically nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
Which is cool. I think that's fun. For me, it's like, I wish it was an experience that took a little less time.
Fair.
I think it overstays, but it's good. Yeah.
I think the artwork enhances it for me as well.
Yeah.
Like, I remember seeing this. This was Kickstarter, I believe, right? Way back in the day. Anyway, when I first saw a picture of the board, talk about being drawn to I saw that and I was like, I need to find out what the hell this is.
Very
This
evocative.
it really is. And again, I love worker placement games. I think that it hits so many different places for me, and obviously with a lot of other people here. And let me be clear: Dark Alley is not an expansion. It needs to be played. Don't ever play this without that. I think it's the Dark Alley. It's the Dark something. I forget.
think it's Dark Alley, yeah.
Is it? But yeah, that is a must.
It's
when
the
you
one
play
that comes
this.
with the special assistance. And,
You have to play it with it.
Yeah.
I don't know that I've played with any of the other.
It's the only way I've ever played with it.
And that's yes. The answer is yes for that. So yeah, Tricerion. Yep.
Navaneeth just said only one Lacerda game so far. Surprise. Okay.
Well,
Well.
get ready.
Hashtag minor spoiler, but also consider who we're talking about here. Kind of makes sense. So number 16, Tricerion. All right, number 15.
Hey,
look at that on Mars.
Yeah. The game that I would rather play 10 times out of 10 over Terraforming Mars.
Sure. Yes.
This is my Terraforming Mars.
Okay, that's fair.
I mean, you terraform Mars in this game too, right?
You absolutely do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So just I had a funny arc with this game. Loved when I played it.
Yeah.
Then I played the solo as it was back in the day. And this is the closest I've ever come to wanting to throw a game off a roof, a la what Dice Tower did.
Yeah.
Or just like stop a stream in the middle.
Yeah, like I
remember that stream.
I was angry, like so didn't enjoy the solo. I was so upset.
Yep.
It completely tainted the multiplayer for me as well, and it took me a long time to get back to the multiplayer. Got it back, and I was like, "Oh, this is really damn good. I really like this again." And I just don't play the solo, so there's that. Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
Just great. Lacerda, yeah, just.
Yep.
It's my third favorite of his, only because there's just a little bit too much of, oh, did we forget to do we need to remember to do that thing?
Yes, that is
right.
fair. Yep.
But it is awesome. An amazing game.
Yeah. So on Mars, number 15. The fact that we're not talking as much about this as we did it's not an indictment, it's just obviously, more or less, I think. So number 15. And we're at how many points?
That was 1,473.
Border points. All right, so it's number 15. All right, Ken, what you got for 14?
It's Carnegie.
All right.
Yes.
Also known as Carnegie, depending on whatever.
Yeah, I mean, this is a great one. I'm a little surprised it's this high, to be honest. But it is very
too,
good.
Because
yeah.
it is one of my favorite games, but I didn't realize it had this much love.
I think it's got a lot going for it.
It does.
When you stop and look, I really like the game. I think it does a really great job. But the reasons, and again, I'm not my guess is the insert's ridiculously good. Don't laugh that plays a part here.
Yeah, there's definitely some ergonomic stuff in the game that is just
fantastic.
Great.
The artwork is gorgeous on this. It flows really well. The game is compelling, and also it had such a huge following because they released the game during and after the campaign to refine it on BGA or wherever it was, that it almost like people felt like they played a part in the development. So I think all those things coupled with, hey, it's just a really damn good game, puts it up there. I think
this is what this has going for it, as opposed to many euros.
Right.
Is it is highly interactive.
Yeah.
It is, and it can have some really sharp elbows as well.
And that's one of the huge things that is going for it, right?
The first skill plateau in the game is realizing that you shouldn't play the action that is best for you. You should play the action where the gain for you versus the other players there's the widest gap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if that's like almost the worst action for you, it still is what you want to do is find the net gain.
Right.
And that means it's pretty interactive, right?
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, smart. Now I am surprised that more games don't put the games on BGA to play test. I mean, they do, but to the degree
not to that level,
yeah.
right? I think they nailed it when they did this.
Yeah.
There was so many positives about it.
Yeah.
The one downside that I will say about the game is something that Shazira brought up in chat is like Andrew Carnegie. Not a great dude.
Right.
And like the theming on this makes no damn sense. Because it completely whitewashes the theming.
It sort of gestures at the reality, which is that in order to burnish his legacy, he was a huge philanthropist at the end of his life.
Yeah, but at the end.
And so the way the game represents that is like the way you actually get victory points is by donating to charities, right? Which is, it is accurate and leaves a ton of stuff out.
Let's not talk about this middle part.
That's
where
right.
You know the whole union busting stuff and like so I feel it's important. Look, I'm not here on a pulpit being the arbiter of what games should and shouldn't say.
Yeah.
However, if we're going to give credit to games that will touch on tough subjects and handle them in what could be termed a mature and more direct way,
Yeah.
then on the flip side of things, we should kind of call into, take it to
Agreed.
task
Yeah,
that, look, kind of whitewashes this, right?
No, I
And-
think this is sort of like a 2025 version of Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Right.
It really is.
Yeah.
But because it's not as, I'm not going to use the pun I was going to use, that it's not so on the nose and it's not as obvious as slavery
Yeah.
as the stuff that he did.
Right.
It feels like more gray, even though arguably shouldn't be. But
Well, I mean, every 18xx game has the same issue, right?
fair. I mean, because yes, but it's not trying to. Then now am I justifying?
like,
Is that
Yeah, but this is like one man presented like this.
Yeah,
It is-
and it's more like if you're gonna have his image on the box,
Right.
and his name on
You're
the
right.
box.
I think it's a little more.
I think
it's
it's-
a little more laudatory.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's my
Yeah.
point. That's all
Yeah.
I'm trying to say,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
I get that.
So, and it could have. And here's the thing. And this is the last I'll say on it. Again, I'm not trying to belabor. Hey, Dog Snoot, is the theme isn't tied to the game. Like it's pasted on.
Yeah.
It could have been something else,
Yeah.
right? Like last night, Martin and I, or yesterday afternoon, when he and I were talking about, he briefly talked about the East India Trading Company, right? That game that it totally could have done a different theme, and it should have. Similar, if you're gonna do this, it could have been anything.
Yeah.
But
Right.
I digress. All right. So look, in the end though, really damn good game and great production. Number 14, Carnegie, however you want to call it. Moving on, number 13, Ark Nova. This is a divisive game. I really like Ark Nova.
I don't know if this is divisive.
Oh, I think it is because
Is it?
yeah, I feel like there are a lot of people that kind of bounce off of this like we kind of bounced off Terraforming Mars. I feel
Yeah.
like in that regard, you either really like it or really don't, and I really like it, flaws included.
Right. I mean, there are, the flaws are a reason why this is not in my top 50. But the game is always fun when you play it. It's, the everything about it except for like the way the card deck works for me is great.
Yeah.
The expansion adds a little bit to sort of make the cards move along faster, and I think if I play it with the expansion these days. But it's not one I feel compelled to reach for.
I actually did quite like the play we did with the expansion. I like the way the sort of updates that the expansion gives to the
Right.
deck.
Yeah.
And I do feel like it's a positive step from Terraforming Mars. I think it improves on some of the stuff that I really don't like about Terraforming Mars. But
I like the programming as far as, hey, you use other cards, it advances, they get more powerful,
Sure.
which it originally took from Civilization 5, I think it is, whatever that
New Dawn, Civilization New Dawn.
that one.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think that's a really cool mechanism. And somebody in chat mentions Ark Nova is like comfort food. I get that. That's kind of how it
Yeah.
feels to me. It's obviously heavier than Rococo, but it kind of fits in that.
Yeah.
This is like a warm hug. I really. It's almost like I almost feel like I have to like somehow justify it. Like hey, it's my guilty pleasure almost.
Yeah.
It feels like.
Sure.
But I don't know why I feel like it needs
Me
to be
neither, 'cause it's the
justified.
number 3 ranked game on BGG. So
Yeah, right. It's really damn
clearly
good
people
game.
share your opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it. I really do.
I had HeavyCon and at the Gathering saw multiple 2-player games of this.
Yeah.
And people love it like that.
Yeah.
Never done it 2-player, but I actually might like that better because I do feel like it overstays at 3 and 4. So
I see Tom Lehman playing the hell out of this with his wife at the Gathering of Friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they play it with the expansion. They modify some of the cards or take them out or whatever.
Sure.
But yeah, and that's kind of a cool thing to see somebody whose games and who I really respect.
Yeah.
Just they love this game.
Yeah.
I think that's really cool. So Ark Nova number 13. And moving on, number 12.
Oh, look, there's another Vital.
The Gallerist. Yeah, great game. And arguably his best solo implementation as well. But yeah, I've gushed about this game a lot. It is quickly climbing the ranks of Lucerda's over the years for me. Every time I play it, I like it more.
Yeah, I think it's my favorite. There's so many that are so good. It's pretty hard to make a distinction, honestly, but I think I like it the best. So,
can you put a finger on why, do you think?
So I like the way that the action selection and bumping work.
Okay.
And I like the sort of tone of the game.
What do you mean by that?
It's like it has sort of a wry sense of humor.
Oh, it does. Yeah, like how we're making fun of the art world in a sense. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's one of the lesser Lucerdas for me, and a lot of that is because of the way that the interruption to the flow of the game with the bumping and
you don't like the bumping.
I don't like, oh, it's my turn, I'm gonna bump you, and now someone else is gonna spend like 10 minutes taking a turn. I mean, I'm exaggerating a bit, but it feels a bit like that to me, which I don't particularly enjoy that aspect.
And that's fair. I think that's a valid critique. Like, it does interrupt the flow, and then you're like, wait, whose turn is it? Like, okay, I just got... So you have to, like, theoretically mark it if need be. But I get but it absolutely... I don't have a problem with it.
Talking about it right now makes me realize it's been too long since I played this. I want to play it. So it's really good. Yeah.
I love that. So part of the reason we do this list is to encourage people to get games off their shelf to do this, and I love that it happens here in the studio as well. So yeah, I'm totally down.
Yeah.
Let's do this. I'm totally down for that. So number 12, The Gallerist.
Number 11.
Number 11.
Better
it's
it's a better one.
Lisboa. Hey, you asked for Vital. Vital has shown up. Who was it? It was the very last thing at HeavyCon.
Yeah.
It was the Danish crew. There were 3 of them. It was Henrik, Jakob, and Brian, I think. And then I went to, and then Benjamin from California joined us. And he was espousing how much he appreciated having lived in Lisbon.
Yep.
How Vital did such an amazing job of really
evoking
100%, taking the theme and making it just through and through in this game. And he says, if you're not really familiar, as intimately familiar with Lisbon as I am, having lived there for a few years, you're not going to appreciate it. But having done that, it's gone through the roof. And so, again, I don't have that familiarity, but just everything that I've heard and the passion from which Vital speaks of this and the way it comes through the game, I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, so good.
Well, I think, Ian O'Toole does not have, a shortage of, really great art in games.
No, I really
But
don't.
I would single this one out because it's pretty far away from what I think of as his sort of,
style.
standard style.
Right.
And, man, is it good. It's really great.
This is the most garish... And I don't mean that as a negative. Garish tends to be a negative, but his most outside of Black Angel, that notwithstanding, I would say this is the most, involved. It feels like, whereas he's much more clean lines and stuff. And I agree, the artwork's evocative.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It screams.
Yeah.
Everything that this theme is, and I agree, and it won the Golden Elephant Award, but it's also one of those games that take an action, make sure you're not missing any of those steps.
For sure.
And that's where I think I've said this before, and my belief is that Speakeasy is going to shoot to the top of all the Vitals. Because it's so smooth and it doesn't have that list of things, and it's
just really fun.
Yeah, it's really good. So I think that's going to be the case. That said, Lisboa, number 11. Yeah, feels about right. Welcome to the top 10, y'all. Number 10. Hey, look, another Cole game, John Company, second edition. Duh.
Yeah.
I mean, I would have been surprised if this wasn't in the top 10, I think.
I agree. Given who the herd is, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
is a good contrast with Carnegie too, in terms of a game that like takes its subject really seriously,
right,
and like is,
but also puts a satirical note on it, but doesn't shy away from it.
Yeah, it's engaged with the history,
yes,
in a real way.
Yeah, agreed.
So, also a game where like it's a fabulous example of like how a game can evolve from a first edition to a second edition.
Oh yeah,
because that first edition is, I mean, I wouldn't say it's unplayable, but it's not great. This one is great.
Yeah.
I
have one critique about the entire game, and that's all. I enjoyed the campaign. Not the
long game.
The long game. Thank you.
You mean the with the companies?
With the companies, 100%.
Deregulation.
There you go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My only critique, and this is a universal thing.
Yeah.
The events are so convoluted.
I love the events because you're there to run them for me.
I just wish it was easier
to
make heads or tails of the events.
Yeah, I hear you.
Again, Ricky Royal, who did the solo for John Company, made a 24-minute video just talking about the events. I made 6 pages of notes and still struggled on running just on the events. So that's my only gripe. Outside of that, man, it's really damn good at what it does. Yep. And hey, Ken, it's a negotiation game.
Yeah, it's a good negotiation game.
All right, so John Company, number 10. Where are we at on numbers?
That was 1,775 border points.
All right, and we started at 733.
Mm-hmm.
So over 1,000 border points difference here. All
That's
right. Moving on to number 9. Hey, Shrey, there you go.
8.
I screwed up. You didn't see that. There we go. Hey, number 9. And Derek, I'm going to take umbrage. You really chose this artwork? Castles of Burgundy.
I just wanted a picture of like a chicken mini.
I mean, Castles of Burgundy is a classic Euro. I enjoy it. That said, I haven't played it in about 7 or 8 years.
Oh, wow.
But I've enjoyed it. You know, I've enjoyed my plays of it. Ken, from the look on your face, says maybe not so much.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel about this game the way Shrey feels about Great Western Trail. Like I have seen what I need to see from this game. It's not bad, but
yeah, no.
I mean, honestly, I would not be sad if I never played it again.
And I probably have played this most years, and some years many times. It is a really it's a game for me I've gotten used to, and so I plays really fast, and I kind of only want to play it 4-player. And I know people love it too.
Really?
People much prefer 2-player, but I like it with all the tiles in the game. I want everything there. I want all the tiles in the game.
I actually agree with that.
Yeah,
I think 4 is a little sharper, which you want.
Right.
And it's nice to be able to see everything.
Yeah. They just the randomness of like some tiles being removed is frustrating for me. And
interesting. I enjoy it 2, 3, and 4. To be clear. But that's the exception, not the rule. The fact that you enjoy it at the higher player counts.
I don't have zero issue with any sort of downtime or anything like that. Maybe some people have had some AP or scenarios, but I've never experienced it. So.
Huh. Yeah. To me, it's really easy to get to the table theoretically, even though again I haven't played it in forever. Because when we were playing it a lot, everybody knew it, so it was easy and it hummed along. And we're talking the Aaliyah Ravensburger edition that was $25 when it hit the market.
You said $225?
No, drop a digit.
Okay.
Drop a digit.
Yeah.
And I know is it Awakened Realms that did
Yes.
the over-the-top version of
Yes.
it and the giant bot?
Which, I mean, Martin Fowler has the not quite fanciest, but still...
Doesn't have the mini chickens.
Still extremely fancy version, and
Yes.
it is very nice.
It's very nice. There's a ton of expansions in there. I'm not sure any of them are actually great, but it's nice to throw in something just to vary it up.
And I will say, categorically, is better art.
Low bar.
Yep.
But I still waiting. I'm pulling for Ian to get his Grail game.
Ah.
So,
yeah.
I when I talked to Ian way back in the day, it sat down for an interview. What's the game you most want to do the artwork for? And he was like, "That's easy, Castles of Burgundy."
Yeah.
I guarantee he would make room in his schedule for that. I hope.
Well, the way things are going these days, 5 or 6 years, it's probably
maybe at
time
most.
for another reprint,
Right? Yeah,
right?
seriously.
Yeah.
So anyway, Castles of Burgundy, number 9.
And a big surprise at number 8.
I wonder what this will be. Oh, it's Concordia.
Yep.
Yeah,
There you go. Gosh.
Yay,
Go.
Concordia. It's fantastic. I mean, some people really love what the team game did for it, and I totally understand, and I think it's fantastic as a team. Every single team game I've played has been amazing.
Yeah.
But I still prefer individual play.
You prefer individual play?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I want to.
Shrey's a control freak.
No,
I'm just messing with you.
question.
He's like, wait, hold on. Am I? Wait, is that why? Sorry.
Well, I want to go more head to head with people, and just see how it can, how the game plays out, how we can, take different approaches to the game. That can absolutely happen in a team game, but I want it to be just me. It's like these are the 3 people.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's.
And whereas for me, this is it's me. It's not Concordia. I know that.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. I will play it because one of my best friends really loves this game. But what I did find is the team game. I oddly really enjoy it, and would prefer playing it.
No, I'm the same way. I quite like Concordia without the team game, but I think there's some real magic in the team game, and it wouldn't be in my top 50 without Venus.
With it, number 8, does this include Venus?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I consolidated them.
Okay, yeah.
I did consolidate them. Yeah.
This is your number, top 3.
This is
right?
2.
This is number 2 for you. So yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So Concordia, with or without Venus,
Yeah.
or you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So number 8. All right. Moving on. Number 7, Power Grid. Well done, Herd. Well done.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised it's this high.
I am shocked. Legitimately.
You were shocked by some electricity. Yeah.
I appreciate you. I'm legitimately surprised by this, that it's this high. Looking back now on the top 50, right, we're 43 games into it. I wasn't, I don't have it in my head, what's missing so far. There's one obvious that I know has got to be up here. But outside of that, it didn't even occur to me that Power Grid hadn't gotten mentioned yet.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have been... I really, honestly, I wouldn't have been surprised if this was outside the top 50. So the fact that it's this high, I think is awesome. I love seeing this.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I mean, I've talked about Power Grid at length.
yeah, we
great.
all have. We
Yeah.
This is, I think, the game we've streamed the second most on this channel. And from what I've read, also a great spectator game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dave, be nice. Dave in chat says it's a much better game than Concordia, so why not have it at 7? Be nice. You're right, but be nice, okay? All right. So yeah, Power Grid. It's great. Play it. And by the way, before we move on, can we all agree it's not a catch-up mechanism? The
Yeah.
turn order thing
It's
is
not.
not it. I stumbled. It was late one night. I'm laying in bed. I couldn't sleep. I went on to Reddit board games. Don't do that. And there was a discussion about the catch-up mechanism in Power Grid, and it was just
Well, I mean,
an echo chamber.
listen, the Ludology podcast, a wonderful podcast that
Yes.
I deeply respect.
Yes. Jeff Engelstein.
At least 3 episodes, they're talking about the catch-up mechanism in Power Grid and why they don't like it. I mean, so I mean, I think you have to play the game a lot to really get into that a little bit and understand the nuance there.
Fair.
So, speaking of catch-up mechanisms,
Huh.
did you do that on purpose?
I did not. I swear to God. I don't know what's coming.
Okay. Ketchup.
Heyo.
I swear to God, I had no idea. Food chain magnate, number 6.
Yeah.
Ken, why is it this high?
I mean, it is maybe the sharpest elbowed economic game that exists,
Okay.
right?
We could ask Martin. We could call in Martin Fowler and be like, is this the sharp?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just a ton of really interesting decisions. It's another one of the Splatter games that has like 3 or 4 different mechanisms that really are one of one, and nobody else has done anything like it.
Yes.
You know, I mean, is it arguably a little bit too long? Yeah, maybe. But damn it, it's good. I love it.
Another Golden Elephant Award winner.
Yeah.
Also, a game that is let me rephrase that. A game that also I think would be a great tournament game.
Yeah.
Ergo,
Yeah. Not your fave.
not my fave.
Yep.
But obviously respect the hell out of it. It won the award on my channel.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I will happily play this, to be clear.
Yeah.
I will happily get curb stomped in this game. No worries. But I understand that I am a neophyte when it comes to this game. And if you're playing with anybody with even a modicum of knowledge on the game, you're going to get just trucked. And I'm okay with that. And yes.
Yeah.
Because, I know how much you and others love this game. So
Navaneeth asked if it's good at 2, and the answer is yes. It's very good at 2.
it plays to 5, right? Is it good 2 to 5?
I mean, I think so.
Okay.
I think a lot of people might argue that it's too much at 5.
Okay.
It's definitely quite long at 5.
Yeah. Like when you say quite long, like 5 hours
Yeah, it's about an hour per player.
per player.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is a Splatter game that broke through to the broader board game.
Yeah, this is the one
and
that
I don't understand why. And
the artwork clearly.
yeah, I'm trying to figure out like what is it about? How did this make it?
I mean, one of the many things I love about the game is that it does actually have like a really wicked sense of humor.
Yes, it does.
And I think that's part of it.
Okay.
So, you know, the picture of the management trainee is like an 11-year-old kid.
That is, I mean, it coincided with a lot of things. The timing on this one, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, it definitely, there was a huge influx of folks wanting to see what else is out there heavy game wise, or right before this came out at Essen that year, and this was 15, 14?
15.
15. There we go.
Yeah, that, and yeah. So I think there were a lot of things that worked really well in its favor, and yeah. So, Food Chain Magnate, number 6. Welcome to the top 5. Before we get there, you guys know what it is.
Yeah.
I don't. Aegis theme has got to be in here. That's a no-brainer.
Sure.
I assume Brass Birmingham's got to be in here. I have no clue.
Great.
Like, yeah, I have no clue what else. I'm sure when I see him, I'll be like, well, obviously, right?
Yeah.
I don't expect Demacher in here because I think it's a little hard for people to get. And I don't think the new edition did it any favors.
I see.
So I don't think, but my question is for those, if you're listening on the podcast, you know, I'm giving you some time here to try and think about what games haven't been mentioned and what do you think it is. For y'all watching, Agricola, that's got to be in here. Yeah, it's got to be in here. So there's 3 of them.
Yep.
Kanban? No, I don't think Kanban would be this high. Pax Pamir, that certainly could be here. Yeah, these are good guesses. Yeah, I think Pax Pamir has got to be up there. All right, so anyway, here we go. I'm probably gonna end up with egg on my face. That's funny. That's funny. Really? Y'all are just wrong.
You asked for Vital, and we got some Vital.
Yeah.
Wow. Kanban EV, number 5.
I'm surprised also. I didn't realize it was this loved.
No. This...
It is really good, though.
It's good.
It's not that good.
I mean, I think it's splitting hairs between this, Lisboa,
I don't want
Mars, Galar. I think they're all really good.
Do me a favor. Make tick marks because I don't want to look at the sheet because I want to be surprised.
Sure.
For all the Lacerdas, if you would, real quick. Wow. This shocks me. Like, I am shocked. Like, legitimately blown away that this is this high. So we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, it's 5.
It's 5?
Okay. Yeah.
So 5 Lacerdas. And this is the one y'all put top. Why?
I mean, I don't know. It is.
I mean, I'm not upset. I'm shocked.
I mean, so realistically, again, like for me, it's probably 5th out of this group of 5. But they're all pretty close to each other.
Yeah.
So, okay. On Mars, the Galerist, Vinos, Lisboa, and this.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like it's, I mean, Speakeasy, we're setting that aside because y'all don't have that
we
yet.
Didn't get there yet.
I'm really, really curious as to why people have this high. Like, wow.
In relation to the others, because like, I can totally see it in the top 50.
So there are 4 Lacerdas in the top 15. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That probably not surprising, I guess.
No, not really.
Because I get, but
the order maybe is slightly surprising.
Yeah.
I actually, if you'd forced me to guess, I might have guessed those in exactly the opposite order.
What give me them in reverse order.
So leaving Vinos out.
Yeah.
On Mars, Galerist, Lisboa, Kanban. I might have guessed them in that order if you'd forced me to guess.
Yeah,
it's actually the exact flip flop.
Yeah. See, I understand Vinos being last of those just because it's old. It's the oldest of it.
Less exposure, I think.
Yeah. And the other ones, absolutely, I would put above. But okay, all right. Cool.
I would have thought Galerist would be number 1, but maybe that's just because you, Derek, other people that I game with love the Galerist most of all. So
yeah.
But with the way things trend, I probably would have said on Mars would have been the highest. Mm-hmm. Like, I get that, or the Galerist. But so Kanban, again, not a bad game by any stretch. I would argue a great game. But this one came out of left field to me. And the fact that I'm not surprised.
Seeing love for Weather Machine and Inventions out there. Yeah.
And my argument against those two is those are the two that aren't, the theme is a little bit more nebulous, and the connection between the mechanisms and the theme is you've got to really kind of search for it a little bit more, whereas it's very cut and dried on all the other games that we've talked about.
Yeah.
And I wonder, is and this is me more now just kind of thinking out loud, is this an indictment? Like, do you have, as the consumers, as the community at large, is this a you need it force fed fed on you and you need it on the nose. Again, like a lot of network TV is dumbed down. I'm not saying, hear me out. And so the fact that Inventions and Weather Machine are more that nebulous, ethereal thing and not locked into real world? Or is it, like, again, these are the things that I'm just sitting here wondering because I feel the same way.
Some of it might just be that they're newer. Right, like Conventions is this year, basically, right? Like, it was eligible for the Golden Elephant this past year.
Oh, God. You're right. Oh.
So, I think Weather Machine's theme was tough for people to get.
Because fantasy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the floor is so high with Vital games. Like, they're obviously good games.
Right.
They're just, for me, they're just a little bit lesser, to be honest.
Now I feel like such a douche canoe that I thought Inventions was older, and again, I just voted with the Golden Elephant Award, and it's a part of that.
Yeah.
And yet because it's been 2 years.
Yeah.
For us.
Sure.
Wow. Tell me you're entitled without telling me you're entitled. My bad. See, I can make fun of myself too. My bad. So anyway, Kanban, EV, number 5. So it's funny. We've talked about this for 10 minutes and we haven't talked about Kanban.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, really good.
Yeah.
Now I want to...
Very clever. Mechanically very
honest
clever.
to God,
yeah.
What this has done is made me want to play it again. To try
See,
and...
like,
yeah.
what's the...
Yeah.
Yep.
So, anyway, number 5. Huge surprise to me, anyways. All right, number 4. PAX Premier 2nd Edition.
Yep.
Another Golden Elephant Award winner.
Yep.
Not surprised here. When I stopped to think about it, it still gets plenty of play at HeavyCon and everywhere else, and the production is ridiculous in a great way.
Yeah.
The gameplay is pretty special. And one of the best aspects of it is you're never really out of it.
Yeah, I hear that.
If you can manipulate that last round in a good way, you can potentially put yourself in a good position.
It's another good negotiation game.
It very much is. I agree with that. But yeah, and this kind of harkens back to 1st edition versus 2nd edition. Did y'all tie them together?
No.
Right.
No, definitely not. Those are very different games.
They are very different games, and that was my argument is I felt it was different enough that it could win the Golden Elephant Award from the 1st edition. But
and I think this also has the distinction of, like, compared to Porfiriana or Transhumanity or some of the other, like, really strong entries in this series.
PAX series.
It's fast as heck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, you can play a game of this in, I mean, really 60 minutes, but definitely in 90 minutes.
Agreed.
Yeah, and the rules are not, like, there's a ton of nuance in there, but they're easy to comprehend, to internalize.
And it's the game, when I'm at the poker table and people are like, what type of games? And I'm like, games have come a long way since Monopoly and Risk.
Right.
This is the game I use to describe what the show's about. Honest to God, this is my go-to. So, yeah. Do people who know both agree that Renaissance is better than PAX? No.
The better of the two?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
For me, this hits better than Renaissance.
I've played this one a lot more.
Right.
And I do like Renaissance.
I do too.
And I mean, I know that historical period a lot better, so there is some interest there for me. But yeah, I think this game is just ergonomically and mechanically, it just is. I think it's just
smoother.
It just plays better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is this is a huge hit for me. Tony says, well, to be clear, I've played a 15-minute game of PAX Transhumanity. So number 4, PAX Premier. I'm going to go out on a limb and say the highest ranked in the PAX series.
That's a good guess.
Yes.
I feel pretty confident about that. We have reached the top 3.
Number 3?
Number 3.
Or at Labora.
Oh, you are so mean. You're so mean. Misery Farm, Agricola.
Yeah, Agricola.
Hey, this is where it should be. I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Yeah, we got to play it. I finally
Two different plays in the same day.
Oh my God.
Over HeavyCon.
We got to tell this story.
All right, so Shrey was like,
No, back up. You got to go to the day before.
Okay.
Day before. Go ahead.
Well, so day before we start playing Colonists.
Right, in the evening.
Sure. Well, for some value of evening, 3:30 p.m.
Was it that early?
Yeah.
Okay. We don't need to talk about that then. No.
So,
4-player, 4-era Colonists. Don't ever do that. But
you know, I will say I had a good experience with Colonists. We're probably going to stream it 2-player.
yeah, we are going to. Yes.
And so you know, we'll see that again.
Right.
It's definitely got some Uwe feels.
Oh my God.
Right.
Yes.
And so we get to the end of the evening, and we've got through maybe the first 2 eras.
Almost the first 2 eras.
Yeah. So
we did. We finished the first 2 eras.
we're not going to finish the game in the evening, right? So we decided to start the next day, and you knew you weren't going to be able to start. Oh no, I guess initially we were like, let's try to start at 8:30.
8:30.
That wasn't happening.
Yeah, things went sideways for me running the convention and everything that morning. I was like, hey, you guys go play a game.
So Shrey and I had discussed
Yeah.
playing Farmers of the Moor at some point over the con, because the Farmers of the Moor expansion I hadn't played it in years.
For Agricola.
Yeah,
Yes.
and we were like, well, let's pop this back out and see what's good. So the 2 other Colonist players who were playing with us, I was like, would you guys want to play a 4-player game of Farmers of the Moor with Shrey? And they were like, great. So we grabbed the box.
Eric and Warren.
I'm
Yes.
texting Shrey.
Yeah.
And Shrey's like, I can't make it there until like 1.
Yeah, I had sports ball to watch.
Right.
Yeah.
Soccer.
And
Right.
so, so I was like, all right, well, we could play something else. And they were like, what if we just play this? I was like, okay, I guess I could always play it with Shrey later. So we sat down, played a 4-player game. It was really fun.
And then we reconvened Colonists.
Wait, hang on.
Sorry.
And Ken won.
Shocker.
I did, yes.
Shocked face.
I mean, so, and then we finished Colonists, and then Shrey is now around, so we convene what turns into a 5-player game of Farmers of the Moor that I did not win, by the way, for the record.
Yeah, it came in fourth.
Wow.
It was a pretty close spread,
Okay.
really between 1 and 5, but yeah, I mean, I didn't have it. So
you basically played effectively almost 36 hours of Uwe or Uwe adjacent games.
yeah.
So the Colonists, Agricola, finished the Colonists, Agricola.
And we played Ora Labora a couple of days before.
Right,
Yeah.
which glorious. That is fantastic.
Not the way I would have guessed my HeavyCon would have worked out, but it was pretty fun.
Yeah. All right. Great. All right. So Agricola, look, you love it more than all of us, and I love it.
Yeah.
But why?
I mean, I just think, like, when I think of worker placement game, this is what I am thinking of and what I want, which is an extremely tight game that asks you to, like, not just understand the simple, well, there's X number of spots and I have X number of things and I'm going to do this, but, like, to actually be able to understand, like, well, I do need to do that more than anything else, but actually no one else can do that action before it's my next turn. So I'm not going to do that now. I'm going to take this other thing that I know Shrey needs to do, right? And I think you've also got essentially two hands of cards. You've got occupations and minor improvements that make every game different, right? And you know, optimizing how to play with those or not play with them, as the case may be, right? Is a big part of the game that keeps it lively even after you played it a bunch of times. So, I mean, it's pretty great.
It really is, and I know Martin uses the Kalis test, and
Yeah.
and for you it's the Agricola test, like for worker placement games.
I guess so. I don't know. I haven't really thought about it that way. Probably, I guess.
And Awakened Realms, again, doing a reprint of this. The appeal to this, you get all 1,600 cards that have ever been made for Agricola. But man, Clemens Franz is Agricola.
Yeah, I don't want it.
Yeah,
I mean, I do want it.
yes.
You want access to it.
Sure.
Yeah, you want someone to have it so you can play someone else.
I'm not in love with the artwork.
Yeah.
And I mean, I already have the version of the game that I'm happy to play.
Right.
I will say though, the one that's actually tempting me is Agricola Dead Harvest, the zombie version of Agricola.
Yeah, I don't know. Is that just a retheming or is it actually mechanically changed?
I mean, if it's not mechanically changed, it's really going to be a stretch theme-wise.
Right.
I assume it is mechanically changed. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny. There's Agricola needs zombies, need grains. That's funny. Well done.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Agricola is absolute Hall of Fame. Deserves to be in here, and the Herd got this one right.
Yeah, I was so glad to, like, after been a while between games to get to play at HeavyCon. I was like, yes, this is that good.
Yeah.
I want to play Agricola. I have not played it in a hot minute, and I would love to get curb stomped, so please count me in.
Yeah.
On that note, before we move on, y'all did get a chance to play, you got to play Aura.
Got to play the France side, yeah.
Yeah, and what'd you think?
I mean, we played Ireland on a patron only, played the France side. I mean, it's good. It's really good. I mean, I think it's categorically better for me than Feast of Rodin. So,
Yeah.
which puts it probably somewhere in the top 3 or 4
Right.
video
And
games. So
taking out, like, the odd ducks and great that are, like, Bonanza, stuff like that.
maybe even not taking them out. Like,
Yeah.
Bonanza is probably top 4 for me.
Yeah.
This one I think is up there too.
Okay,
So,
fair enough.
yeah.
I was just curious. So, and you got to play
I got
Aura?
to play Aura Labora. It's excellent.
Because I remember you tuning in to the patron only stream. You've been
Shaking
clamoring.
your
Oh, he was
fist at
so
us.
angry. So, Agricola, number 3, well done, Herd.
Now before you go to number 2.
Yes.
So this is the first time in the list where the difference between points is over 100.
Right.
And-
So Agricola 111 points higher than Pax Premier.
Lincoln, come.
Right.
Okay.
111. Right.
Oh no. Sorry, Agricola is 11 points higher than Pax Premier.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying between 2 and 3.
I see what you're saying.
Oh, okay.
The
All
first-
right.
So between 2 and 3, there is a gap of more than 100 for the first time, and it is much more than 100.
Yes, it's a gap of 1,000 points.
Back up. What?
So the difference between 3 and 2 is the difference between 2139 and 3199.
So the jump to number 2 is 1,000.
So there's a pretty authoritative 1-2.
Yeah.
They're miles above the rest of the field.
I should clearly know, and I genuinely don't. I know one of these has got to be Age of Steam.
Yeah.
I really don't know what the other is. So here we go. Number 2,
Hey, you're right. It's Age of Steam.
Age of Steam. All right. Look, if you're listening to the podcast or you're watching this live, duh.
Yeah.
We can move on.
Fair
Right?
enough.
Can't we? Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So, I mean, duh.
We all love it.
Yes. Campaign currently going on. Go check it out.
Yes.
We still have 2 more streams of it. We have the Portugal map. We're doing the night before the campaign ends. And then one day next week, to be determined in the next 24 to 36 hours, it sounds like I'm going to be doing a tag team solo of DC Metro.
Yeah.
All right. The number 1 game of all time, of right now, of the Herd is... Oh, Brass Birmingham.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
It does make sense.
Sure, but
It's another couple hundred points higher than Age of Steam.
that surprises me.
But what's interesting is for like every day when we were getting lists, I would input the latest list, the latest handful of lists into this database, and for most of the time, Age of Steam was winning. And Brass Birmingham would peek ahead every now and then, but Age of Steam was winning. And then towards the end,
Late breaking.
people
And
late.
down the stretch they
Yeah.
come.
Yeah, Birmingham took over and handily a couple hundred points.
Wow.
Yeah.
So-
I surprised but not surprised. Like I thought Age of Steam would keep the lead, but
Right,
no,
yeah.
Birmingham is the number one game on BGG. It's what
Is it currently
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
number
Yeah.
one game? Okay.
It's what people people love the thing. It's amazing. So can't deny.
Yeah.
T-Ball says Martin Wallace takes the top 2 spots. Maybe?
Sure.
Yeah, anyway.
No
but-
comment.
Yeah. Okay, so off the top of my head,
Yeah.
the game that surprises me that is not on this list now.
Yeah.
Like just automobile. What the hell, people?
I just think it's rarer, right?
Is it like, oh my God, that taking Age of Steam out of the Martin Wallace John board, we're just gonna set that one aside. Brass / automobile,
You think
real
it's pretty
close.
Yeah.
And I don't know where automobile is here. So yeah. Anyway, Martin says automobile's pretty obscure.
Is it?
We need to fix that. But anyway,
it hasn't had a printing in
that's
since a terribly ugly printing way back. Like,
the Mayfair
Yeah.
edition way back.
And-
So
yeah.
that's fair. Wildcatter's not here. Good call.
Yep.
Glory to Rome didn't make it.
Yep.
Interesting. Now, that's the list. However, we're going to talk stats.
Sure.
All right.
Before we get there, would you like
Sure.
to know any of the specific numbers for any of the specific?
Okay. Automobile. Start there. Where did automobile
I'm just going to
fell
put
out?
those last two in here, Glory Roman Wildcatters, as adding. Okay, so automobile 67.
Okay. Still too low, but again, maybe you're right. Maybe it's there aren't enough of it recently.
Yeah.
So okay.
Yeah. Other ones that I heard while we went through this is Glory Rome 158.
Wow.
Yeah.
Again, hard to get.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
Wildcatter is 69.
Sure.
Okay.
So pretty close.
Yeah.
Inventions 79 will probably climb. I assume.
Because again,
Yeah,
it's a
it's new.
24, so my bad.
Demarker 110.
Okay, again, hard to get,
Yeah.
but sure.
Reasonable. Power Grid Outpost, we were talking about Power Grid 749. That I'm curious to see if that goes, like how that changes.
I don't think it will.
I still haven't had.
I
a
haven't
chance to
played
play
it yet either.
I
Yeah.
don't think it will, because
I don't think so.
it feels like a variant of
Right.
main Power Grid.
Yeah.
What about any Fabio games? Any Luciano games?
Oh, I haven't pulled those out. So let me keep
Yeah,
going.
yeah,
down this
no,
list.
please.
You asked about Lignum
Yes.
earlier. 103.
Okay, again, I feel like there were copies, but there aren't now. But yeah, so 103 for Lignum. Okay.
What else we got? Feudum 118.
Okay.
Or Labora 126. That's too low. Needs to be higher. Come on. Age of Innovation 71. That's very respectable.
And I think
Maybe
that'll probably climb.
with some chance to climb.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And
I think so.
and Terra Mystica 111. So it's
Again,
interesting.
Age of Innovation has replaced
Yeah.
Terra Mystica for a
Yeah.
lot of people.
Yeah.
That makes
El
sense.
Grande 53, just outside.
Oh
Yeah.
wow,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
missed it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's good to see. And Dominant Species Marine 91.
Okay. Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm good. Well, actually, I know we're going to talk about it. So
Kalamala 305.
Yeah, Kalimala is
Merv
not good.
383. Sankore is new, so 236.
Oh, and Shackleton is still not available here in the
Not
U.S.
in the U.S. Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
not. Gonna be,
They'll come.
Yeah.
They'll come.
Yep.
yeah. So and then one other thing. Okay, I did. So of games that have a ranking of war game on BGG.
Yes.
Yep.
I can tell you what the top ones. So Pax Pamir, Root, Arcs, Trial of Struggle. Those are in our top 50. Those all have rankings in.
I would argue one of those is
Yes,
actually a
yes,
war
yes,
game, but
okay.
okay.
So outside of that, we got Fire in the Lake is 86.
So that is the highest,
The highest
coin.
Yeah, the highest coin. War of the Ring, second edition, 89.
Yep.
Here I Stand, 154. Imperial Struggle, 156. So that's like Twilight.
Yeah.
Churchill, 162.
Yeah.
Also not
And
really a war
Seki
game.
Kahara, the first block, 177.
Okay.
Register Rebellion is higher than other coins. That surprised me, actually. So, yeah.
So
I mean, really, so like Empire of the Sun 245.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
that's
actually
the-
higher than I would have
That's
expected.
the first like truly board
Yeah.
gamey board.
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, that's
not a coin, not a card drop, not a card driven.
CDG,
like,
right, yeah.
More
It's
of
on
like a
4
hex,
lists.
more of like a hex encounter.
So
situation.
those that
So-
like it really like
It's
it.
on 4
That makes
lists,
sense.
and
Yeah.
the average rank on those lists is 12.75. So yes, those who
Yeah.
like it really like it.
Yeah.
It's
That makes
we'll talk,
sense.
We'll talk more about that. Yeah.
Any cube rails near the top?
I didn't spot any.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. So you ready to kind of dig into now some more?
Well, before we get there, I'm gonna let me pull this up. So let's talk about. So we already talked about a little bit when we talked about High Frontier, how like what we were just talking about. This was Empire of the Sun games that only a few people really like, but
it's
they
really high.
Like it.
Yeah.
Other in that category in our top 50. Arkwright, Civolution, although Civolution I think it might be just because it hasn't got a lot of still people are getting to it.
Yeah.
Viticulture, people really like that. Grandmaster Hotel and Anachrony. Just outside of the top 50 that are in this category that people love, only a handful of people rate it, but those who rate it really are rated highly. 1862,
Sure.
Voidfall, Twilight Imperium, and Stationfall. All games that
Station Fall.
Oh,
That's the one that stands out as a bit of a
well to me
surprise.
they're all games that have a following, right?
Right.
And,
okay. Fair.
Yeah.
And 1862 maybe is more of a. It's just because 18XX is going to be hard to be represented because it's spread across so many.
And we'll talk about that in a little bit. Yeah.
So so that's so but I think like things like Twilight Imperium and Stationfall, they have core following of people who are really interested in playing that game.
That makes sense.
Thing,
Yeah.
so.
TI4
Yeah.
totally makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
So we talked in our aggregate HCHQ stream about what it would be like if we combined the brasses.
Right.
So we already know Brass Birmingham is number 1,
By itself.
but if we looked at all the lists and chose the highest position for either,
Okay.
right? It would have 4,275 border points.
And what does it
And
have?
it has 3441, and it
Okay.
would be on 108 of 140 lists in the top 50, which is
This
like,
just in. Brass. Really damn good game.
there are only 2 games right now that are on even half of lists.
Age of Steam and Brass, right?
Mhm.
That
Birmingham,
makes
yeah.
sense.
So, and so the fact that it would be on 108 out of 140 is
Pretty
something.
significant.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and then comparatively, Age of Steam's on 79 lists, right? So
just over half. To be fair, not Age of Steam isn't a hit for everybody. I get that.
yeah,
And again, we play it more than I want to,
Mhm.
but y'all really enjoy it, and for the campaign and the
Yeah.
whole 9 yards. But all right. So 18XX. Now I have a little bit here. If again, kind of use that whole you do this.
Okay,
It's-
sure,
yeah.
sure. If we did that, if we took the highest 18XX across everybody's lists,
Right.
and combined that into a single point value,
Like
single
18XX as the game instead of breaking them out into individuals.
It would end up with 2,389 points on 66 lists, and so that will put it at number 3.
Mm-hmm.
Which that's not. I mean, that's a lot of 18XX. So I don't think that's not quite the same thing as Brass and Brass, right?
I get it, but I think that's an important thing, an important statement that it's making. That look, if you take the highest on everybody's list,
Right.
regardless of what it is, it shows that there is representation there.
100%.
It's just so diluted, and this also goes for the coin system. It's so diluted, I imagine.
Well, it's an interesting thing with 18XX too, because, as someone who's sort of an 18X outsider, I sort of think of them as all being pretty much the same. But what I think it's telling you in large part is that, like, people like it for different reasons.
Right.
So their favorites are different because the games have different flavors, right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely. And the highest ranked 18XX, as we already talked about, 1862, that comes in at 51.
Just missed.
Just outside.
I knew that, actually. We had talked about it before the stream.
Yep.
That, 1862 hit 51.
Yeah.
Yeah!
1846, as you would expect, is the next highest, 68th.
I actually would have thought that it's reversed, but that 100% is the Edward factor. I'll own that.
1889, number 85, and
Okay.
1817, which I don't really know anything about, is 99.
That is the poster boy for the financial side outside of 1830. It is a really big complex. I still haven't played it, still want to, but that is, if you really enjoy the financial side, the 1817 sub family is kind of the one to go to.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Okay.
So 18XX pretty well represented, just barely missed the cut though.
Yeah.
So okay, you ready for some stats, y'all? Hopefully the answer is yes, because we're doing them. So here we go. All right, now this is mostly going to be y'all explaining what it is we're looking at, and for the folks at home. That are listening on the podcast, here we go. So we have 12 slides here, effectively. So what are we looking at?
So the first set of graphs that we have here are data from all lists. We have a second set that is data based on the top 50.
Okay.
But this is all lists submitted by the 140 lists.
Yep.
Okay.
So in that, what this is showing you is by bucket of 100 on BGG, the number of games that are represented in these 140 lists. So what it's showing you is that first bucket of 100, there are 93 games that are on someone's list.
So all but 7 of the top 100.
But there's an important nuance here, or distinction, is that those 7 games that are missing are things that we rolled up anyway. So it's like Great Western Trail's 2nd edition, right? Great Western Trail's on the list. It's just Great Western Trail's 2nd edition is
so it's actually represented.
Yes. So realistically, the highest ranked BGG games that are not on nobody's lists are pretty low. Cartographers, War Chest, I don't know what that is. Ganshon Clever, Descent, 2nd edition.
Which I have and really would like to play that at some point.
Horrified, and Star Wars deck building game, which I played Horrified. I don't know Star Wars deck building. So those are the ones. Nothing particularly high that was not on somebody's
not
list.
on anybody's list.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Huh.
So we have good coverage across what
Right.
BGG considers good.
Yeah. And I mean, you can sort of see why that's like Gunstrong Clever didn't make anybody's list, because I think it's the opposite of whatever a heavy game is, right?
Yeah. It's
So I understand why people like it, but yeah.
And looking at this list, there's pretty good coverage all the way through the top 900 games.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then, even then, I would argue all the way to about the top 2,100 ranked games, you have at least 20%.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are on 20% of the list. Like, that's strong.
Yep.
Like, so obviously top 100 well represented, but outside of that, still really good representation.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's actually, I think, kind of interesting. All right. So that's slide number 1. Moving on to slide number 2.
So this is how many. Sorry, I'm just going to phrase this correctly. How often a game is on a list is in a bucket of BGG ratings. So what this is saying is 108. So looking at the highest bar, 185 of the games are in about 6.75 BGG rating.
So you're talking when somebody goes in on BGG and rates a game.
Yeah.
This is a 10. This is a 7. This is a 2. Whatever. The highest grouping of all the games, all 1,300 and whatever on the list. The average ranking 6.75.
Yeah, and I think that makes sense. So like the high 8.25 up there, that's gonna be like Brass Birmingham. That's Pandemic season 1, I think, is still rated high.
Very few games have
Gloomhaven
have that rating that high.
That's the 4 up there
That are at 8.25 and higher.
And this is the BGG Pythagorean rating, so like it's not the absolute rating.
It's
It's their rating run through a little algorithm that gives a benefit to games that have more ratings.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. But looking at this list, at least 147 have it's between 5.5 and 7.0. There are way less once you get above 7.0.
Yeah.
I find that really interesting. So what this tells me, I think is what it tells me, and correct me if I'm wrong, is not everybody likes the games we like.
It tells you. It says two things,
Right.
I mean, it says that we are looking more widely and maybe at less popular games,
Right.
Because some of those games in the 5.5, they might only have 80 ratings.
Yeah.
But the ratings are all 8s, 9s, and 10s,
Yes.
and it still would land at a 5.5.
I could have done this with the actual,
Right.
with a pure average, right?
But it would honestly would have been less interesting, I think.
okay.
Might have been
Right.
less
So
interesting, yeah.
the other thing it tells us though is there aren't very many games rated with a Pythagorean rating of 7.25 and above. They just start to be fewer games.
Oh, because it's a bell curve, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes
Like
sense.
Shrey was saying, like the 8.25 category, it's probably literally every game that has that rating represented here.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. So that is slide number 2. Up, slide number 3.
This is published year. And yeah, you can see this in 2024 up there. But it favors the new, right? And in case you wondered, that negative 2200 is Go.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
That's
yeah.
what that is. But yeah, the highest year is, what is it? I think it's 2022, 2023.
It looks like 23 because 25, 24. Yeah, 23
Yeah.
is the year that has the most games on the list.
But it's not like it's dramatically higher than
Right.
anything. Like
Yeah.
it's I think this is pretty much what you expect. There's good representation through in the 2000s.
Yeah, honestly, there's over 50 for almost every year going back to 2010.
Yeah.
Which, again, recency bias, but that's also when a lot of us that play these games probably got into the hobby, I'm thinking.
Yeah, and it's also when not only you're seeing what peaking quality, but also peaking volume.
Yes. That
Right.
makes sense, right. Yeah,
Going
because
from hundreds of games being published every year to thousands of games being published every year. So
that makes sense.
And if you're curious what the older games besides Go are, there's backgammon, cribbage, chess, and shogi. And then the 2024 games, the highest rated ones: Galactic Cruise, Molly House, Speakeasy, and Star Trek Captain's Chair.
25.
25 games.
25.
Yeah.
Say that again.
Yeah.
The top games from 2025 that are represented in across all lists are Galactic Cruise, Molly House, Speakeasy, and Star Trek Captain's Chair in that order.
3
Yeah.
of which have even been released already.
Right, yeah. And to be fair, when we did our top 50s, Molly House effectively was not released yet, so
That's right.
nobody really included
Yeah.
it here. And
Yeah.
again, even though y'all break the rules, Speakeasy not as well. Anyway, moving on. So slide number 4. What do we got?
So this is playtime as recorded on as specified on BGG by where the herd has put each game in their top 50. So if you put something in 1 to 10,
Ranked
at 1
your
to
number 1 game, Age of Steam.
right,
Yeah.
and
The playtime on that.
let's say it's a 120 on BGG. I don't know what it is. But
Sure,
let's
whatever.
pretend it's so that would be part of that that leftmost bar,
Yeah.
which is 145. So what this is showing is people more willing to more willing to put shorter games in more in the 41 to 50, 31 to 40 range. The longer games are more meaningful to them.
And it's a pretty linear direction going from
Yeah.
your top 10, don't mind it being longer, and then it goes down from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But not dramatically so.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
okay.
And it's, obviously length is a proxy for weight too, which
Yeah, and
not a
well,
surprise,
so
yeah.
and that's what we'll see with 6. I should have ordered these differently.
That's all right.
Yeah.
So slide number 5 now.
So this is just game weight by playtime. This is exactly what you expect, but it's basically showing that across all games that we have, that the heavier the game, the longer the playtime. And
Yeah.
Not surprised.
No, not
It's
surprised.
not a direct correlative there, but it
Yeah.
It can't. It's going to skew that way.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Slide number 6.
And this is the game weight version of the time that what we were just talking about, and it's basically the same thing, right? There's a slight downward trajectory there of the games that people rate.
The higher you rate the game, the more likely it is to be heavy on BG.
Right, and so the average rating of the top 10 looks like 3.68.
Yeah.
And
3.06
3.06 for 41 to 50.
Yeah.
And then
It's a meaningful difference because it's a 5-point scale, and I guess we could have had
it's a 5 point. But it's not.
It's
actually
a 1 to 5. It's a 1 to 5.
4-point
It's a 4-point scale. Yeah, it's a 4-point scale.
Yeah, because nothing's rated below 1.
So
that's fair.
As was it 0.6 of a point is significant.
It's pretty.
in a 4-point scale, that's a massive difference. Yeah.
But it's also it's a scale where, like, yes, it's a 4-point scale, but it's a normal distribution where, like, the middle of the curve is between, like, 2.8 and 3.4 or something like that, right? So, like, it makes sense that it would, that this actually it's a little steeper than it looks, I guess.
Okay. All right. That's
Does that
fair.
make sense?
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So
slide number 7.
Yeah, grab mechanisms. Now, mechanisms are a tough one from BGG because people throw all sorts of things into that category.
Yeah. For mechanisms, it's
at the scale, like, so to the left side is for all lists. One of the mechanisms, and the right side is for just the top 50.
Okay.
But looking at the left, I think the left side is more interesting because it's got the wider set of games in it, and so it's showing you hand management is the highest by a whole bunch.
Yeah, 471 games list hand management on BGG as a mechanism, and the second highest is dice rolling at 363. That's higher than I would have thought, by the way, for the dice rolling. That's the thing that sticks out to me here. Now, Crystal Palace has dice, but you don't roll, or you do roll them, or jokingly, you don't actually roll them in a meaningful way. So you don't. So I find that really, really interesting.
Three of our top 10 have dice rolling in it.
What are they?
Age of Steam,
John Company,
and Castles Burgundy.
Okay, fair.
Sure.
Again, I don't think of it because there is that randomness, but I guess it makes sense. And worker placement way down at 217.
Yeah.
Kind of a little bit surprising to me.
Yeah.
But yet solo, and the fact that games are solo or solitaire available.
I think if we were to have run this like in 2019, the solitaire would be so much lower because so many games these days include solitaire. So
it's
just required
326 of the games, which again, this goes back to the thing that blows my mind. There is this hidden aspect. Take a game like Coast Watchers, not out yet. It's the Volko Ruhnke that's coming from GMT. Mm-hmm. It is very clearly a 2-player. Think Stratego level of hiddenness. Yeah. It's not Stratego, but it's actually a reasonable comparison in some ways.
Yep.
And somehow they're making that soloable. And I'm like, okay, if there's a game that doesn't need it, yet they're trying, that goes to what you're saying about, wow, almost every game is trying to be soloable, it seems, nowadays. So
I just heard you lay down the gauntlet for the next edition of Stratego. Stratego with solo.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, like...
Let's go, Milton Bradley.
Get on it!
Yeah.
That's funny. All right, so that's slide number 7 of 12. Moving on.
Now we get
number 8.
Now we get to stuff that is strictly about the top 50.
About the Herd's top 50, the 50 games we just covered.
Yeah. And so you can see this is the same as the very first graph, which is what is the representation across the BGG ranking. So 29 games in the Herd's top 50 are in the top 100. So these are numbers as of, I think it was end of April. That's when I grabbed the export. So things could have shifted slightly in different ways, but at the time, 29 games out of the 100 of the BGG, the top 100 are on the top 50.
And nothing outside the top 1,000.
Nothing on the top 1,000.
All right. So 9 more in the top 200, 3 more in the top 300, 3 in the top 400, and then the rest are 600 to 900.
Yeah. In case you're wondering, The ones in the end there are Bus, Vinos, Pax Ren, Arkwright, Civolution, and High Frontier for All. But those are the ones that are at the end.
Yeah.
There's 6 games, 600 to 900.
Yeah.
And what are they again?
Bus, Vinos, Pax Ren, Arkwright, Civolution, and High Frontier for All. Those are the ones.
Civolution's going to go up.
Civolution will go up. It might have already gone
Probably
up.
has gone up
Yeah.
already.
Right,
Yeah.
but not all. Oh, God,
The other
those
ones are not going to change.
No, they're not.
No.
Well, but what I'd say is like being top 1,000 is still pretty good.
Yeah, considering 8,000 games come out every year, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah. But still,
Yeah.
Yeah.
those are some really good games that are that low. Okay, all right, moving on to slide number 9.
So you're published, and this is maybe not as interesting, but you can see 5 games from 2015 and 5 games 2016. The two games from 1999, Bus and Raw,
Yeah.
right? 2024 games, Arcs and Civolution, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
These are all that's where our
It's a pretty even distribution,
flatter.
actually.
Yeah,
it's way flatter
Yeah.
across.
Sort of makes sense because it's just a lower end, so it's going to be a little bit more like random.
Right, because it's only 50 games over
Yeah.
the course of
And
everything.
I think bottom line is a Stone Classic is a Stone Classic no matter when it was put out. So
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, moving on. Slide number 10.
Yeah. Playtime by game weight. We saw this earlier. It's basically showing that again, the heavier the games, the longer the playtime, as you would expect. I did cut off. Well, I didn't need to do it for this, but in the all list, I did cut off at a certain limit because there was a 6,000 minute game and it's someone has. So I didn't factor in. But yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Okay. And slide number 11.
Yep, and this is game weight, and this is so by rank. So those that Arkwright, High Frontier, Pax Ren, those ones at the end, the 7, 6, 7, 8, 900.
Yeah.
Those are actually 7, 8, 900, slightly heavier.
Oh, they skew way heavier
Yeah.
from 4.25 to 4.75.
No, I mean, High Frontier, Arkwright, those are heavy
Sure.
games.
Agreed.
Right?
Yeah.
Whereas the slightly lighter on the which maybe is that's probably what I think would happen.
The heavier games, the real heavy games, tend to skew because not as many.
Everybody's cup of tea.
Yeah. And that actually, when you put it that way, now it kind of makes sense why those are ranked as low as they are because they have a much smaller audience.
Yeah.
Again.
Yeah.
How many people voted for High Frontier? How many?
20.
20 of 140 had it on their list, but those that did had it really high.
That's right.
Yep.
That makes sense. Okay.
All right.
And finally, the final stats.
Yep. Designers. So, we should be flipped around. Whatever, it's fine. Top 50, Cole and Vital, 5 and 5.
Yep.
Tied.
And then Splatter
and Splatter
is on 4.
Yep. And then
Martin Wallace 3, but
or 2, depending on how you want to look at it. Yeah.
so okay.
BGG lists him as a designer.
Yes.
Okay,
So,
for Aegis theme.
so for our purposes, that's the data we're
Yeah.
using.
So and to be clear, using that data, he's got the top 2.
Yeah.
Pretty strong.
Yep.
And then Uwe Rosenberg.
Yep.
The one that really strikes me as shocking on this list, given its heavy cardboard, is Jamie Stegmaier.
Yeah.
The fact that he's on here twice, that really surprises me.
Yeah, I mean, I know that his stuff is not as popular in our group.
Round, right.
But I mean, with Scythe in particular, it's a pretty good game.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I will say, it is a great game to play in a dorm.
Okay, yeah, I get that.
It's a great one to bust out with kids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And game designers on all 1,300 and change.
Yeah.
Or all 1,300 games. 1,400.
1370 something. Yeah.
Right. Reiner Knizia.
Of
I'm
course.
actually, you say of course, I mean, he's prolific. I get that.
Yeah.
But the fact that he has 27 different games that
Well, and-
made it onto somebody's top 50.
Sort of everybody likes different ones, right?
Yeah.
Right.
The fact that, my favorite of the auction games is Modern Art. Yours might be Raw, Shrey's might be Medici.
Right.
Right, but, we all can kind of agree, those are all, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
The
yeah,
fact
yeah,
that,
sure.
So it also means it's also why none of his games are in the top 50.
Because they're so dispersed.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
He's like the 18XX of games.
Well, no,
Yeah.
Raw's in the
Oh, Raw's in the top
the
three,
Raw
yeah,
one
good point.
game, yes.
Yeah.
But the point remains, right?
Yeah.
And then you have Martin Wallace in tied with Stefan Feld in 20 different games. Feld makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit surprised about Martin.
I think that's
He's
our
prolific.
I think that's our group and taste, right? I think it's the hers taste.
Yeah.
That's
It skews
Wallace.
toward, yeah.
Yeah.
But still, Uwe Rosenberg has 18 different titles. That's pretty impressive.
sense.
And I love seeing Amabel.
Yep.
Amabel Helen has 13 games on the collective list. David Turtsey at 13, Alexander Pfister and Rob Davio at 12, and then 5 tied at 11. You got Freedom and Freeze, Simone Luciani, Vital Lacerda, only 11, but would we say 5 of them are actually in the top 50?
I mean, how many total games has he designed?
Yeah,
That's
I know.
got to represent like 80% of his total.
If not
design
all of
work,
them,
right?
right? Yeah. Vlada Chvátil, obviously, because talk about breath, like in wow, and Wolfgang Kramer at 11. So.
Somebody was asking about Sui earlier. Comes in with 10.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was a little surprised he's not on anywhere.
Yeah.
Like no Shipyard. Like
I mean, I could find out where it is if you're curious.
I am a little bit.
Coffee Traders is 80 because someone was asking.
Okay.
Yeah, Shipyard, 232.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I also, just for the hell of it, grouped all the Knizias together. That would get to 3,605 points, which would be number one.
But again,
yes.
he has
Yeah.
9 million different games, so that's fair. All right, so that's it for the top 50. The herd, your top 50, which I think is kind of awesome.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna go ahead and do a little talk here. Golden Elephant.
Ah, right.
7
Let's do it.
finalists. All right. So here's how that went about. It is mostly HCHQ group.
Yep.
With some others handpicked.
Yeah.
On this, and they're how we did this is we had a spreadsheet of look at 2024. Basically, I went on to BGG and said, okay, look, 2024 to 2024, exclude expansions and set the weight rating at 2.5 to 5.0. And then hit search. And then went through all the pages.
Mm-hmm.
And then made a list of, call it 70, 80 games that could even maybe possibly if the lighting hit it just right, could be a finalist.
Yep.
And then out of that, we whittled it down to about 20, 25 games.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, and everybody was free to do this on their own if they wanted. And then it was hey, pick your finalists. You could pick between 1 and however many you wanted. There is no...
My guess is nobody picked more than about 7 or 8.
Right,
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't think anybody got that close.
And then arbitrarily, and what felt right to me was I chose 35%.
Okay.
A game had to be on 35% of the list.
Sure.
To be able to be considered a finalist.
Official shortlist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these are the official Golden Elephant Award finalists for 2024.
Yep.
Do you have the list in front of you so I don't look like an idiot and forget one? I'm gonna try and do this. Here we go. There were 7. Arcs, Inventions, Stressbotics, Purple Haze, Sankore, Shackleton Base,
Railways.
and Railways of the Los Atlas.
Yep.
Those were the 7 finalists. I apologize I don't have graphics for all y'all out there. Then, once we have those 7 finalists, then opened it up to voting in person at HeavyCon. Everybody got 3 votes. They are packing peanuts, because peanuts, duh, and packing peanuts, because you ship heavy cardboard in packing peanuts. It was multi-layered. Anyways, So everybody, I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
Everybody got 3 votes,
Yeah.
and we totaled those up. And then all the patrons also got 3 votes at home, and asked, because obviously most of the HeavyCon attendees are patrons, asked them not to vote. It was on the honor system.
Sure.
And it was pretty cut and dried. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but there was a clear winner this year for the People's Choice Golden Elephant Award, to the surprise of exactly 0 people. Arcs.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Arcs won it. I will say, Railways of the Lost Atlas put up a good fight, but it was pretty clear that Arcs. So congratulations, Cole, Worley, and Leader Games for the People's Choice Golden Elephant Award. For the official Golden Elephant Award, we're actually going to do a show within the next 2 weeks, how we've done in years past. We'll talk about that. We'll break out the numbers a little bit more. How we did this was ranked choice. Shrey wrote the program for this, and it was 4 iterations.
4 iterations, yeah.
It took 4 iterations to get a winner, and it came down to a difference of 1 between first and second place. I will say that. So those are your finalists for 2024. We will do that within the next couple of weeks, scheduling and getting everybody together, as many as we can, to be able to vote. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I feel pretty good about
Yeah,
that.
we
I'm
did.
really proud of y'all. A couple of choices notwithstanding. But no, I just, huge thank you to everybody that submitted lists. I know it's a lot of work. I know you may or may not find it interesting. I'm grateful that those of y'all that chose to submit lists, thank you for doing so. And a huge thank you to these guys, as well as to Kushagra, who helped make y'all's job way easier.
I mean, really, Shrey's job. Shrey
enough.
Shrey did the lion's share of this.
And to be clear, I'm not not diminishing the amount of work that you put into this. That was a huge undertaking, and I'm very, very grateful. So
hopefully
thank you.
it'll be easier
Shrey.
next time.
It
Because
should
Shrey did actually quite a bit of like structural work.
Yeah.
right, and so it
That
should
was the
be.
fun part.
If you say so.
Yeah, God bless you.
Manual fixing people spreadsheets, not fun.
That's fair. So, hey, everybody, thank you for watching. And if you're listening on the podcast, thank you for listening. Please like and subscribe. If you don't subscribe to the podcast YouTube channel, about half y'all don't. And we're trying to grow the podcast. The number, it's really nebulous on trying to get numbers. We're trying to get to 500 subscribers on the podcast. So that'd be cool. Please check that out. Heavy Cardboard
I just
Podcast.
don't, like, why wouldn't you subscribe? I never understand why you wouldn't subscribe. I subscribe to stuff that I don't actually even listen to.
Yeah, and I
Just on
subscribe
the
to
off chance that I might want to listen to the new episode.
right, and same with on YouTube. Half y'all don't subscribe.
Yeah.
Like, it really does the channel a lot of good. Please like and subscribe. Consider supporting the show, patreon.com/HCHQ. You get access to the Slack channel. You get access to the community. You get access to hundreds of extra streams that we don't put out publicly. And at certain levels, you get access to the patron-only podcast, which is whenever I go to conventions or poker stuff or more, you get more Edward, for better or worse, as it might be. That's a wrap on tonight. We will be back next week with a whole lot more streams. I'm Edward.
Shrey.
Ken.
And again, big thanks to everybody that submitted a list. That was a lot of fun. That was interesting.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Let's get to 300 next time.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Good times.
But Kanban, it's a good game, but that surprised me. I'll see y'all later. Take care, y'all.